Head towards the latest inflation prints coming out at 8:30 this morning. We'll give you an update here as far as what is expected for the May core inflation. Again, on a month-over-month basis across the board, 0.3% expected, 3.5% the consensus for the core number on a year-over-year basis. Headline 3.4%. We talked about that late in the day yesterday with Frank Caberna over at IG. If you zoom out and look on a month-to-month basis over the past 6 to 8 months, we've been back and forth, up and down, all over the place. So about 20 seconds to go here, and we'll get this latest reading. So just be prepared for some volatility coming in here if this comes one way or the other. Coming off that non-farm payrolls print, remember back on Friday, a lot higher than expected for the job side of things. Again, 3.4% expected on the headline number. Market moving ahead of this data coming in here, 3.3%. So just hearing 3.3% versus 3.4% expected on the headline number there, 3.4% versus 3.5% on the core as well, 0.2% on the month-over-month for core to the upside. So better than expected there, CPI print across the board. Again, 3.3% on the headline number there versus 3.4%, 0.2% versus 0.3% month over month. So yeah, future is going to be liking that coming off a big day yesterday. I mean, Apple stole the show yesterday. It could be the overall market here today.
It is, Brendel. 5,400 just went like that on the ES. Obviously, we're not doing the futures just yet, but 54.26 right now, high of day, or high of morning, I should say, up 3/4 of a point right now. We were already at all-time highs, having printed that yesterday on the back of the strength that came in, I guess, from WWDC and all the other participants. There you go, 54. It's still going here. We're about to break that quarter point area. What a move up.
Yeah, I mean, exact opposite of what we saw going back to Friday with that non-farm payrolls print. I mean, let's temper expectations here. I mean, it's 0.1%. So yes, heading in the right direction, but not a significant amount overall. 3.4 on the core number there versus 3.5 expected. 3.4 was expected on the headline number. Comes out 3.3. Happy Wednesday, guys.
Well, it's a lot better now. Market definitely liking those numbers. You know, like everything else, like who knows how it'll end up at 9:30. I love those alternate caps, by the way. Sean's sporting the J's like City, whatever they call it, but
City Connect.
City Connect, fantastic.
Come on, man, City Connect.
But yeah, it wasn't huge, but every single one of those was both core and CPI year over year and the month over month, all of them beating by like 0.1, right? So a little bit lighter. NASDAQ looking fantastic. I mean, Apple was already pressing fresh highs. Microsoft's at an all-time high. Currently, it's one of the many names that could be doing this in the last little bit. Microsoft breaking through an all-time high just now. Nvidia just went from flat to up 1%. Firm went from 1% to 5% to the upside. So there's a heck of a lot making power moves. I'm not chasing anything early, but we had some long ideas that we liked yesterday and this morning, and I don't think this will change anything. If you had short ideas, I think you want to be a little bit patient. Just because we have this big bump up right now doesn't mean it always gets sustained. So if you like dip buys, I don't think you're completely out of the woods. Don't forget we got a nothing burger from the Fed at 2 o'clock, and then the podium at 2:30 is going to be a big deal. Oh, and by the way, you know, Cintron wise enough to get out. And we talked, and so something that, by the way, check out the Freedom Wealth podcast. One of the things mentioned in the last episode was traits of good traders and things that you need. Resourcefulness, resiliency, and, you know, I think flexibility. So yeah, Citron believes in the short. Yep. And even when they got out, they said...
GameStop?
On GameStop short, sorry. They probably short other things as well. But, you know, they said... even though they don't believe in the long-term case, the capital raise gives enough juice for it that they'll have a longer runway, that it makes sense for them to get out. So not being stubborn about it. I think that's a pretty, you know, I have a lot of respect for Cintron for coming out and basically saying, even though we still kind of believe in the case, what's happening in the stock and what's on the ground is reason for us to get out. Good move by them.
Yeah, good move. I mean, we'll see if it's a good move or not. I mean, I don't know what price they got out at. Oh, I'm missing a chart here. I'll get that in a minute. Bitcoin 69,000 starting to go as well. 3,600 for Ethereum. Apple trying to break through 208, which it already did a little bit yesterday into the close. Nvidia trying to take that 123 right now. Everything is all good. We're just getting the sticky note out right now. Yeah, market will be blasting higher, up another 1%. We said this for the last while. Continue to trade the best names and buy. Yesterday I said to just buy everything in the NASDAQ. Now the NASDAQ's up 1% again today, and we're up another 1% from yesterday morning as well. So, I mean, the market just keeps on bumping, and it's not going to stop. Earnings are through now. Oracle came out yesterday and was just like, okay. I mean, this is another, a trade that we've been adding and putting into our portfolio. Oracle, huge move, upside right there, up 8% as expected. There today, and just Google's going, Amazon's 190 again. As I just said, Apple's 207. Like even Tesla today getting a little. I mean, Tesla's moving around 173 right now, but it still gets that $3 bump up. So they like this cooler CPI number, and I guess that just signals we will definitely not be getting. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get one or not, but I guess we could get one. We'll check to see. The CME Fed rate tool was 99.4% as of yesterday. So I was going to say this number, if this number was a little bit earlier, maybe it would affect it. But coming out the day of, obviously this decision is made. So they're not supposed to be privy to any inside numbers before they come out. So we'll see if they are or not. But yeah, 2 p.m. should be good. We'll hear about the question and answer. I mean, it's going to be more important than ever today as we try to figure out where they're going in. I think probably November, or October, but we'll wait to see.
I mean, the chance of September is gonna. I think it was 50-50 yesterday. The chance of September, so I think that's got to be creeping up, and we'll wait for an update there. I think that's going to be changing. It's always a 2 o'clock, 2:30 thing, and I like 2:30 a heck of a lot more, especially when you're not going to get a change. Do they have no idea where inflation is going? It doesn't really matter. Even if they were reacting to this number, you know how they roll. They'll slow roll it. So we'll see what happens at 2:30. For now, market's still continuing to hold this 1% gain. Watch out for some of the spreads. Things are starting to calm down. I had a firm up. The spread, when the number came out, it shot 2% to the upside without the bid moving. Like the bid stayed the same price, and the stock went 2% up, but the bid didn't really follow it. Now starting to fill back in. So I think people are digesting this and catching the bid a little bit more now.
70%, guys, is the answer to that question now for September. So it looks like the first one at least going to come, the first cut going to come September. It's kind of 70-30, maybe 75-35 even, going out to the end of the year for December. Yeah, when Frank was on yesterday, we were saying it was 50-50. It was a coin flip for September, but it looks like now 70% once again in favor of the cut coming through for September. I mean, this all could change and most likely will. Many times between now and then, obviously, even possibly this afternoon, depending on what Fed Chair Powell has to say. But just to run through this again for anyone who's joining a little bit late, 0.2% on the month over month to the upside. 0.3% was the consensus there for core. 3.5% overall year over year. Comes out 3.4%. So the headline number, same story, 3.3% versus 3.4%. 0.1% to the downside. There's not much else. I mean, we get the energy update data at 10:30 this morning, but not much else in the way of economic numbers to worry about this morning. And then, next stop, 2 p.m. We get the decision. Nothing's going to change as far as the interest rate is concerned. 2:30 is going to be the key here.
I just want to see how he's going to balance this, right? We got a weaker inflation print, but we got a higher jobs number last week, and those are his dual mandates, full employment and price stability. So how's he going to balance that? I'm sure he's going to be pressed on that during the press conference. That's when really things start moving. He releases his statement earlier on, right? I believe at 2 o'clock. It's on the website, so you can read it before he's even read it out loud. Other than that, I'm just going to wait for the conference.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were just talking. Like, what hurry is there?
There's none.
Economy is great. Market's at all-time highs. There's more jobs than anyone could ever have, it seems. So what hurry is there at this point? But it looks like the market pricing in at least one at this point, pretty much guaranteed. The second, bit of a question mark still. I was just seeing FSLR popping up in front of me. I guess 300 just came and went. on First Solar. Another positive note here this morning for First Solar. This is a daily chart for this thing. Just keeps going through 300 and change now, guys.
A big breakout there. Like we talk about, the best of breed or like finding the best stock within a sector. And there's times where maybe you just look at the fundamentals, or most times you kind of want to understand the fundamentals. In this particular case, just look at all the solar names and look at their chart, and First Solar stands out like a sore thumb. Obviously, a higher chance or a greater chance of rate cuts coming in September, and then possibility of this number giving us a greater chance of getting more than one cut this year is going to be good for the entire group. So it was probably going to make sense that this was going to be up regardless, but that's a pretty solid breakout on FSLR. Not a ton of volume pre-market, not that it ever really does it. So this is very, very thinly traded up here. If you're trading a trend, when you break a channel like we just saw, you kind of look back into previous highs for that dip buy. Like previous resistance turns into support. That sits around like the high 280s. I'm not even sure you have a chance of seeing that today unless the market wants to reverse some of this move at the open. But First Solar definitely off to the races. I think you have the benefit of possibly more than one cut. I think should help the group. Might be some names that are playing some catch up, but this is clearly by far the best chart. I mean, this reminds me, First Solar's chart kind of reminds me of what Pinduoduo was doing to the rest of the Chinese internet companies, where it was just clearly the only one that was uptrending and everything else was in the doldrums.
Yeah, look, we can look at some gold today as well. I mean, there's going to be lots of different things moving around. I mean, we were just talking a little bit there about, I mean, not really talking too much about it, but Bitcoin trying to get back up to 70,000. I mean, that bottom there at 66 was amazing, 66, 67. I mean, we've held there a couple times. Look at gold today now, up $1 and change and starting to get going as well on this. So, I mean, it's kind of like high tide rises all ships. There goes gold. We've seen silver, SLV the last couple of days. Some of these have been beat up. I mean, if we look at the daily chart, we had breakout levels and then all the way back into the 50-period moving average, and there goes silver up 2% again right now. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of different names that are hitting some bottoms. A name that I know that we've liked that's really gotten hit too is uranium. Uranium down 10% or so off of this level break at 33 that never happened. All the way back into 29, like down 12, 13% in 2 weeks is uranium. And that's getting a little bump. Today, whatever, it's because it was so low. I don't know where this print is. I don't think it's up 2%. But at the end of the day, some of these names just come in, and it's worth buying some of these ETFs maybe in things other than, it's just because I'm always talking about NASDAQ and how high it is. And I have the NASDAQ here and the S&P. These are all at all-time highs. There are other opportunities out there. Like you got the dip yesterday in Bitcoin, and I just showed you gold and silver, and then uranium's another idea that you can get involved with that I know a lot of traders like. So, some great opportunities in the market in general. And we talked about this even, on that podcast that you mentioned, the Freedom and Wealth podcast. Make sure you join it right now. Oh, well, good, 1.09K. And we have 2 episodes out, a couple quick little highlights here. And it's just, we talk about trading as a side hustle, trading to try to put some money in your pocket, to try to do something different. And this is what it's about, is trying to find opportunities and value that exist, potentially not in, the run-of-the-mill stuff. So we'll wait to see what happens here. I think crypto's an opportunity. Roblox is looking good there too. Beyond Meat is still, what is Beyond Meat doing?
Beyond Meat's being Beyond Meat.
That was 667. Okay, yeah. So yesterday, Beyond Meat had a story from the New York Times that didn't appear to be anything. It's actually up today. I was wondering what it was going to be doing. There's the move down, and then I got stopped out. Was trying to go short, and eventually breaks higher through that 710 level. Beyond Meat. The market's moving, man. There goes Nvidia. We wanted 123, and it's already broke. So the sticky note is now out. And we had 123 written on that for Nvidia. So we'll see if it plays today. But some of these names just continue to go higher. Now we're getting that cut for sure, and not this time in September. So market likes that. Little pullback for now.
We'll see.
I'm buying these dips.
So many things have broken. Like Rivian, I just noticed broke that $12 level as well that we've been kind of watching for pretty intently. So this is going to happen unless you're taking breaks or entering orders in the pre-market on on these economic numbers. I think you can run into trouble when you do that because of the spread. Like I was mentioning the spread on a firm, which I want to get to next. But I think 12.20 might be next here for Rivian. It hasn't really been super explosive, but anything, a couple of weeks ago, we were like, yeah, this is going to be the trade of the week. It's finally bouncing off of that $10 level, long consolidation, kind of breaks out. And it's been a very gentle climb from about 10.75 into 12. I think today, if you follow through this move, all it has to do is hold 12 at the open and it's good to go. Affirm is the other one. I guess this will be on the watch list, but if you remember Affirm from yesterday, broke out late in the day, was great off the 33 level, which you saw in the afternoon, and breaking out this channel, clearly it was that 34, it held it like a wick. This has been a long trend in there with only a single break being a bunch of post-market action and dark pools. But you're finally breaking out this trend, deal with Apple, going to be the catalyst, and then you throw in the market moving like this. As long as it's over 34, I think this got a lot of room to be dip bought for another potential 10% kind of day here on Affirm. We were just talking about Beyond Meat and its short float. Affirm's got a decent enough short float, not gigantic. I mean, it's not Beyond Meat level. Beyond Meat's 40% short. This is only 11, but one of these charts is better than the other. That's for sure. Rather be buying strong stocks, even in this kind of a move where almost everything is going up.
All right, a couple things. Andrew Left is coming out from Citron saying that they'll probably short it again, 45 to 50, if it gets back up to that point once again. But yeah, Citron out of the short in GME. I mean, this thing's done a ton of volume already this morning. Very, very active here. Most of it was early on, but back about 30 after a pretty good day yesterday.
Oh yeah, not a bad look at all. We watched this one on at the midday yesterday. It was doing moves. So was AMC. They'll be on watch again today with Adair and I on how to trade. Here's what Andrew Left said, specifically with respect to his short on GameStop, or Citron's short on GameStop, and the covering of that short. It's not because we believe in a turnaround for the company's fundamentals will ever happen, but with $5 billion in the bank, they have enough runway to appease their cult-like shareholders, he goes on to say in a tweet. So a little unflattering there.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah, more to come on that, obviously. But yeah, if you missed it, probably short it again is the exact quote, 45 to 50.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the business they're in. So
no, I mean, generally, if a stock goes up 100%, it's a short opportunity.
I would say so.
You know, I mean, come on, stop being so genius there, Mr. Left. I mean, honestly, like if you're saying that you're going to short a stock that looks like this, yeah, if it gets into this level, yeah, that's probably not a bad short. You know, but guess who's going to win and be a billionaire if it gets up to that level by the time you finally short it? Not you, somebody else. So we'll wait to see what happens here on GameStop. I mean, look, this name was $23 or something yesterday where we got long. And it was, honestly, an oh my God type of an opportunity because it just fell in. We were long twice down here. We were long on a 30 break. I even said after hours, I want to hold this thing. And we went to $32 after hours. I mean, this name, for some reason, when we all know what the reason is, continues to go higher. I mean, I like the cash in the bank story. I like the short float story. The stock is actually pretty, I mean, sure, you're going to get these blowout tops and bottoms as well. But at the same time, I wrote down 26 bucks today for a sticky note trade. So, you know, this is a level right there. I was just looking at it and thinking, like, we got going all afternoon. The level that really started it, I mean, sure, you could wait for 25, 20. I mean, I've waited for lower and never gotten filled. So we'll wait to see 26 bucks. I mean, I think that's where we halted. It was a level that mattered yesterday. It's a ways down. You know, it's 10%, 10, 15%, a little 13% lower than maybe where we are now. The market is still 45 minutes from opening. So to know where GameStop's going to be in 45 minutes, I feel like is just as much of a coin toss as where it's going to be today at 4 o'clock. So let's just wait to see what happens with GameStop here. But I am definitely a buyer. I paid for shorts in case this thing absolutely blows up, but I will not be hitting a short key today until we get a downside halt. But that's it, man. Yesterday we were long. Go check my Twitter feed. It was the #1 P&L name yesterday, and we'll see if we can do it again on longs with GameStop.
Yeah, I think for us at Real Trading, I think I paid for GameStop shorts almost every single day during this run because they're incredibly cheap. if you're not holding it overnight, it's just a vastly different story. So we pay 1/8 of 1 cent per share, and then you can use that or not use it. And at that price, it makes sense to have it, because I don't want to be in a situation where it goes to $100 and then you don't have the locates and there's a move into the downside to take.
Yes,
thank you very much, Randy.
It is a
Appreciate
George
the coffee.
day. All right,
It is
cheers to
warm.
coffee.
We're finally getting back above 20 degrees today. It's about time. Leave that in the bowl. I just looked yesterday and realized that had been on the bear when we've been going long all these tech stocks recently. Randy?
Good coffee, Randy. Good
Yeah.
coffee.
So GameStop, yay or nay?
Yeah, I give it a yay.
There it is. Randy gives GameStop a yay. Even though it's flat right now, it's not going to stay that way. That's for darn sure. Play those halts. I think if we get an up halt, I don't know, the best trade a couple of days ago was the first up halt off of the open. I think if it did something like that, I'd try to join it, but the last time we missed that trade, it's a little tougher to get those halt fills recently, I found.
GameStop just going red now might be an opportunity to pick it up, but yeah, it's all good right now. We did have Rivian breaking through $12, Randy. That was a good one, and then Tesla today breaking back in and around 170, but a nice little bump up there for Tesla. Nvidia pulling back into 123. I would be buying this dip if this market was open. Damn, I'd be buying this dip right now. But let's just wait for a 123. I like this level, a breakout level right there. It already happened. I love Nvidia today. Oh man, today's going to be a very, 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 very exciting day. Intel finally over $31. What?
Is it really?
Okay.
The range on Intel's been so ridiculous at that $30 to $31 level. It's kind of just been like buy it in front of 30, sell it in front of 31.
1320 Wolf. I had Neil's got his banana over there. I already have mine.
I haven't.
Maybe I'll get another one. I don't know. Is two bananas no good? I don't know what.
We got it.
I don't know how many bananas you're supposed to have.
I don't know.
Is there a limit to bananas? I don't know.
Well, it's like anything else. Like you can't eat too much of anything. I learned that when I was in Cub Scouts, and they have all these Macintosh apples when you go camping.
Oh, you can eat too much of
and
lots
I would
of things.
eat like 10 of those. I had like 10 in one day. I'm like, why don't I feel too good? Well, because you ate 10 apples in like 3 hours, Neil.
Yeah, I don't think that's a lot of sugar.
It was kind of stupid.
Apples are. All right, look at Upstart, look at Bitcoin, look at everything. I mean, there's going to be lots of stuff moving, probably even a firm, but I'll be looking at a few specific names today. Back over to the desk.
A couple other things here. I was just noting Palantir up 1.5% this morning. There is nothing significant on this, but another one that's moving with the overall market here. Had a pretty good day yesterday. Was doing absolutely nothing pre-market, and then we get this number out this morning. A few people were mentioning Palantir. Sharif, Plug Power is up 5.5% as well. I mean, it's a $3 stock, but so there's a decent amount of these little ones floating around this morning that are moving around. Open Door, I haven't said that name in more than a year, I bet. 7.5% this morning. I just checked. There's no headlines on it either.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on some of these large cap or small caps. Guys, to be honest with you, I haven't had a look at too many small caps today, but I'll be looking at the likes of Oracle, earnings winner. Obviously, want to see how that trades today. Obviously, day number 3 for Apple. We really got that big push yesterday, selling off. The only Mag 7 in the red today, so I'll be looking to see if we can defend that 205 level. Interesting day, Brendo. Anything can change really at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, there's this note on a firm as well with Apple Pay coming up later in the year. Some of their products going into Apple Pay. So this thing had a huge day yesterday. Just took out the highs again here. 35.50 this morning, guys, for AFRM.
Yeah, breaking that channel as we mentioned. The other thing, because we said Palantir, the first thing that came into my mind is don't forget to look at Robinhood. I said there'd be a lot of charts that are doing this. So 52-week high break on Robinhood has kind of already happened on the number 2380 or so would be that top. So it's holding around the top. There's already a size bid at the 50 level, 23 and a half. So I think this can be a nice continuation long. Under some pressure yesterday because of Bitcoin and all that stuff at the open, but it recovered more or less everything. The note on a firm, I think it's a great partnership for them. Obviously, anytime they can get as many eyeballs, dollars, whatever you want, which is the entire Apple ecosystem, transacting through them. If people want to use the feature, great. Now all of a sudden they're going to be just more people using the buy now, pay later. And it's breaking out of what was a very, very long trend. And when you get a long trend like this, the breakouts can be pretty spectacular in their breadth. So as long as we're above 34, I want to be looking for longs in this stock for days. And it doesn't mean they all have to work. Yesterday was good. That was just a start. Now you're above this trend line, and I think back into it is worth some opportunities long. This number has changed a few things because before the number came out, we were trending right back in. I thought we'd actually be maybe trading off of like high 33s, 34, and a bounce at the open. Now a dip buy could simply be back into like 35 or 34.75. We still have a half an hour to go until the open, so there's lots of time to settle down where this is going to actually be at 9:30 and where we'll play the bounces off of. But I'm not thinking short this name like we usually do. Completely different change now that that trend is gone.
All right, you guys mentioned Palantir. Look, we've had Palantir on the sticky note pretty much every single day since 20 bucks. And it's some days we're in it, some days we're not in it. And yesterday was just one of those days where it just so stupid because I'm looking at the sticky note right now. We wrote down $23. Well, $23 was the bottom yesterday, and it basically ripped all day before closing at almost $24. Up $1 on a $20 name is pretty good. Will Luka and Kyrie show up for the win tonight? Probably not, unfortunately, to JB, but I don't know. Who knows? I hope so. It should be a good game for sure. All right, so I just think here, nice move up for Palantir. I would love a pullback. I'm not sure 24 is right. I know the market is going, I don't know it, but my opinion is the market rips today again all day. Fed comes out, continues to rip. Powell leaves the podium, continues to rip. You could have a 2 or 3% day today in the NASDAQ. And if that's going to happen, then I am liking any of these opportunities down here at $23, $24. So let's wait to see if that can come through. But Palantir right now at those lows, I think that those are for sure opportunities there. So we'll wait to see if Palantir can get to $24. I'm still looking at Nvidia dancing around 123 and Apple 207. So a lot's happening here today. I mean, it's going to be a wild one. I think it's going to be, especially with that CPI print, like could get some pullbacks, like 19.4. Just looking at the NASDAQ, I mean, this is absolutely like, see ya.
We're gone.
Like Apple was just like, yo, get on this back and I'll just carry you to the promised land. And then NASDAQ's like, promised land, we're already here. And Apple's like, exactly. And then it was just boomed the upside again. And it's continuing here today. And Powell's not going to throw cold water on this. There's nothing he could say, in my opinion, that does that. So I don't, you know, the outputs are out of his control. CPI is lower. So that's it. You know, I feel like that's the trigger, and he's going.
He could say there's just a 0% chance he would. Like,
right, 0% chance, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there's anything that he's going to come out and say anything. I mean, what could he say, really, that throws this market down?
Oh, he'd have to just do, like, he'd have to say things. They're absolutely never going to, over the top, telegraph, like, a big sea change. And he's not going to say something like, yeah, you know what? I don't think we should be cutting rates at all. I've done a complete about face. I kind of like what Turkey does when it comes to interest rates. We're going to follow that. I'm just basically telling you, like, there are things that could get said, but they would exist in like a what if in a Marvel universe. Like if you decided to throw out economic theory, then there's things you could say that would hit the market.
Right.
But they're not going to throw out economic theory because this is not Turkey, it's America. That's all.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess he could say anything he wants, but I mean, ultimately, he's not going to say anything.
I'm willing to bet it's such a nothing burger that he drops at least 3 jokes in the first 5 minutes. That's my call.
All right. Well, we're going to be here for it. Not much trading at 2, but it'll be 2:30 when the market starts to go. So, yeah, all right, back to the desk.
We'll get some analyst moves here, and then we'll get into what's happening in the overall market. Let's go over to Adara quickly with that.
Couple interesting names on both sides of the docket here. We do have Klaviyo. This was a late 2023 IPO here, getting this upgrade from Barclays up about 3%. So nice look for Klaviyo here. We also have Valve Online getting an upgrade from Piper Sandler. Pfizer getting this upgrade from Wells Fargo. And TSM getting an upgrade and actually also an earnings estimate increase here from BofA Securities. So nice look for TSM and Taiwan Semi over here. Downgrades, Paramount kicking off this side of things. This downgrade from Wells Fargo coming as there's yet another update to its ongoing potential merger situation there. NextEra Energy getting a downgrade from Mizuho. Tesla here with a downgrade from Exane BNP Paribas. And last but not least, another late 2023 IPO to close off the list. This one going to be Birkenstock. Goldman Sachs raising its price target, but downgrading the stock, guys.
Yeah, look at those names in there. Tesla, probably not much of a surprise with the EVs being under some pressure, though when we get to Tesla, it's actually holding some support. Yet another 52-week high, and this one is TSM. So you've had a few of them. I said we'd have a lot of charts that would look exactly like this or very similar to this. So TSM, it broke 170, so forget about that potential breakout trade. It looks pretty strong. You've got Broadcom to report tonight, which I think is going to be the biggest one of the week in terms of interest, I suppose. I mean, Oracle's pretty big as well. But double top here on TSM, if you include today. If it tries to dip back in, I feel like I'm going to be more involved in the chip names and like Nvidia with the potential of Micron. We'll get to that. But TSM looks pretty good over this 170 level. You never want to sleep on them. They're not always the best day trade volume-wise. But anything that holds a 52-week high break today, I think has good continuation opportunities here. Microsoft's in that category as well. So it's not technically a 52-week high until you open above here. It's just trading at fresh tops. And I love to see it because that means you have nothing out in front of it if we continue this move. There's no past historical levels. There's no bag holding zones or anything like that. You just have these nice fat round numbers and the air up there.
All right. The name, first of all, you guys all know this one. About, 13 days ago or something like that, we upgraded Shopify at Katina Capital. And you know what the chart looks like since that day? Kind of like this. Every single day from that bottom of $58, we're just lucky to get this, all the way up. So look where Shopify is right now. I mean, it's up $6. It's up 10% in 2 weeks. So forget about all these other upgrades on that board. It's Shopify. I like this name. Dip buys into 64, I think are great there. Into yesterday's close, it continues to work. Shopify continues to be a good little buy. We did buy some of that Shopify, of course. And then the other name that I saw on that list that would be interesting to me because it is on the sticky note here. And we wrote down 174 short. We got to 173 on that bump. So that's an interesting level there for us. I like Tesla for a short idea today. Back over to you.
We're just reading this note from Kathy Wood, ARK Invest, just coming out with a note about Tesla. I mean, it's kind of long, but to sum it up, this is from ARK Invest. The bull and bear cases for Tesla are approximately $3,100 and $2,000 per share, respectively, by 2029.
Punch long, Brendo.
Even on the downside, it's still going higher. All right, let's talk about the overall market here to start things off.
53.84, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. You can see we're well above that now. We're at highs, breaking through that 5,400 like it didn't even matter. 5,432 high of day. We're currently trading there. So obviously no resistance levels because it's a blue sky setup, but because we broke 5,400, let's use that level as support if we come down.
If you haven't done so yet, go to the website right now, tradertv.live. Wait for that pop-up to appear, and then you enter your email address, and then you get the morning watch list delivered right to your inbox for absolutely nothing from us. Has everything you need to know on it every day in email form. What is it? 8.02% currently here for Oracle. Was higher than that in the aftermarket yesterday. There was initially a dip to 120-ish after the close yesterday, and then it was just straight higher. Pretty good report here across the board.
Yeah, it's a good announcement that they made, but they missed on everywhere. EPS missed, revenue missed, year-over-year growth was 3%. Even their cloud infrastructure grew 42%, but as Neil pointed out to me this morning, it's slower than they grew last year. Still up aggressively though. Reason is they're growing as fast as AWS and possibly Azure. Those are two competitors. And there's a new OpenAI collaboration there, and that's gonna really get people excited. So we'll have to see how this does. A big
Ask Apple. All you have to do is say AI. All is well. Nice day, guys. Is there a trade here for us on Oracle?
I mean, to me, it's like if it comes in, like these earnings plays, there's things that are breaking out that I don't have to worry about the report. Like I don't have to worry about a report on TSM or what's going on. Like you know what's up with Microsoft. You've already had your reaction to earnings. They bought all the dips and they broke out the all-time high. So right here, you're essentially breaking it out on. When I said that about when Sharif and I were talking about that growth, the fact that they went from the cloud infrastructure 49% to 42%, like that's an impressive number. You know, not to distinguish it. It was more along the lines of nothing, no metric, even the great ones, actually beat expectations. That said, you were partnering with the right people, and the price action is king. There's no such thing as good or bad earnings. There's just earnings and what the market decides to do with it, and that's a stock price. And that's as a trader, you care about the stock price. So Oracle breaking out. This 130 level on the daily has been big resistance. And if you zoom it way out, last I checked, when you zoom this out, that looks like a rounded face into a break or smiley face or whatever we're calling it. And so as long as 130 holds, it looks like long to me. But as we have with a lot of these earnings names, here's the gap underneath. It's got 32 pre-market, 32 aftermarket. That could get broken. Maybe it bounces off 31. Maybe it bounces off 129.50. I feel like on these earnings names, you never really know. So if it bounces and holds above 130 after 10 o'clock, and there's a move above that price, then I would look to join along. But I don't want to be catching a falling knife on this name. I just feel like there could be selling. In this name particularly, I just feel like you could get some selling off the open. And I have found that if you just sort of sit on the bid with these on the morning of earnings, you can get run over, look back in half an hour, and you would have been right. So instead, just wait till 10 o'clock, and if it's holding above the line you like, find an entry point, higher lows, consolidation in front of the support level you like, that 130, something along those lines. Instead of guessing, just let it happen, then try to react to it a little bit later in the day would be the plan for me.
Look, Neil just basically said every single thing that I say about every earnings play. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, back to the desk.
9-0 something or other. Anyway, yeah, let's continue. We were just talking about Tesla. That valuation from Cathie Wood, pretty impressive. We'll get to Apple in a sec here, but it's worth noting we are higher here for Tesla, 172, trying to hold here after a pretty ugly day yesterday. But if you missed it, Cathie Wood thinks it's going to be worth $3,100 in 2029. So get long, I guess. Let's go to Apple coming off what happened yesterday. I mean, the overall market move a little more impressive today than Apple's move here pre-market, but I mean, just absolutely monstrous all-time highs.
Oh, yeah.
Just huge across the board yesterday coming off the keynote.
Yeah, so I won't really repeat some of the things we announced yesterday with respect to Apple Intelligence or any of the other new announcements, but I'll tell you what the analysts are saying. So Morgan Stanley predicting a multi-year product refresh, another word for super cycle, and a price target of 270. Bank of America also upgrade cycle for AI-enabled phones. Evercore ISI liking this as well, calling the iPhone super cycle incoming in the fall. Separately, they are releasing Vision Pro in 3 new countries. I believe it's going to be in China, Hong Kong, Japan, and Singapore. That's going to be on the 28th, so 4 countries. That's before it makes its way to Canada. And the highest price, Brendel, get this, in China, it's going to be for around $4,200 US.
So already, yeah, a little more reasonable. I mean, you were even saying that you can get them here.
You can get them.
Now. They're not going to be retail prices,
No.
but if you really wanted one, you can get one here. Negative right now, guys, for Apple.
Yeah, you can get anything everywhere. It's just a matter of whether you can get it the traditional way. But I guess it makes sense to be the most in China. That Vision Pro, it doesn't. I don't think that's not really moving the needle. I was actually saying to Sharif this morning, I don't particularly care whether they get the super cycle or not. I think with everything that you saw in the release, it's a matter of when, if not not if, that pretty much everyone's going to hop, well, not everybody, but the vast majority of the users are going to make those upgrades. If it happens now or if it happens next year, the long-term case, I think, is going to be completely intact. So, you're here to trade price action. I think you may stick a fork in some of the dip buys. When you prepare before a number, I'm ready for things like 200 and 202, because if we go down on CPI, then those big levels, like that big 200 break, could come back into play as a dip. 202 could come back into play as a dip. Instead, the market goes higher. Apple doesn't really do much, but that's because it carried everything on its back. The good news is I think some of those dips, where you found actual consolidations and dip buys yesterday, are the places to look for them today. That's the 202, and that's the 204 level on Apple for me. I'm just letting what happened yesterday dictate. Where did the buying come in when they sold yesterday? And that's where I want to do the buying again here today. So Apple continues to win. I think sometimes on a day like today, you might get other things take a leadership role in the market. That's why you got to look at some of those chip names. Microsoft breaking some fresh highs as well is going to be worth a look. But that doesn't mean you can't be buying dips here.
All right, Apple yesterday, I mean, it was the #1 name on the sticky note, and there's the buy immediately off the open at 194. It closes the day at 207. It's a $13 winner straight off the open. It started to rip like crazy. Our best out there was $3. Then we actually wound up getting more on, I think it was 204 dip buys and things like that. So we wound up taking our last piece out in and around 204, so about $10 winner on that Apple. And again, it was on yesterday's sticky note right here. Long, great story. I really like it. But today I'm not 100% convinced on what we want to do with Apple here yet. So I don't get the same feelings like we did yesterday on this name. I mean, I still think it goes a lot higher, but it's down today. You know, like that to me is, I mean, this market's going to scream. So this has a lot of runway, and it's good. It's going to get here. Like, it's going to get to 208. I just don't know when. You know, like, it might hang out a bit. I actually wrote down, because we were negative here, and again, I wrote this all down pre-CPI. So, you know, I thought that we were down a bit. There's the bump up on CPI. We've made it all back to the downside. So I just looked here and I said this little area right here, 202, could be something. So that was a level that I was thinking about. You could go up here to 203, 204 maybe. I'm not sure that's early enough. You don't want to catch a falling knife on this name. And I don't think it will be falling for long. So you definitely want to look at this. I'm a buyer hand over fist, I believe, at 200. You know, unless something dramatically changes. I don't see this thing dropping $6. So we might try to buy 203s into 202, see what happens at 202, and hopefully don't have any left at 200. If it gets to 200, we'll make a different decision. So let's just wait. I'm not super excited about breaking the top on this one. I'm much more excited about breaking tops here on Nvidia and things like that. So Apple will be, and I mean, you saw the trade yesterday. Let's see if we can put it back on the board here today and do a little damage. So Apple, I'm on it. It made the sticky note, but it's in the top and it just says waiting for a base, and then I have that 202 with a question mark. So I don't like the fact that it's down here, but you know, it's gonna be a good trade. We just have to figure it out.
Does there need to be?
Not really.
WHLR, little real estate trust moving up right now. Just heads up on that. Here's GameStop, back downside right now. Pretty heavy selling coming in as well, back through $30. Was the end of the day, essentially around the close anyways, where we ended yesterday. But huge day, once again, really got going into the close. The last hour, you can see down here, a ton of volume came in on the buy side. But Citron out of their short said they're going to revisit possibly 45 to 50.
Yeah, Citron with that comment. Wedbush, you'll recall, yesterday actually increased the price target on GameStop from 7 to 13.5. That was short-lived, Brendo, because now it's from 13.5 to 11. So citing lower than expected proceeds from the share offering. I guess they weren't impressed with how much they were able to raise yesterday.
Yeah, and that was the other side of it. They completed that. We were talking about that end of last week, guys. Thoughts here on GME?
I mean, look, completing the offering, that much cash, all that good stuff. You know, the bounce post that dump that it had last week. I think those are good reasons to have taken profit in the short. So I can't argue with, you know, I don't know where, I have no idea where Citron was short. I guess you could presume if they said if it gets back to 45 or 50 again, maybe that's an indication that that's what they were short before. But, you know, they took their profit and ran. I think you got to do that as a trader. You had a lot of key levels yesterday that held. 23, 26, and 28 were the three big ones. So in that order, in terms of significance, obviously, I think if you dip down and bounce off any of those, I want to look for it. If we do get some kind of an uphalt, as I said already, like if we get an uphalt off the open, there's a chance I'll try to get into that I'm talking about after the open because you can't have halts pre-market. I might try to get into that on the bid and then take it before it breaks out. In theory, it's at 29 now, so it might not be able to break yesterday's highs without going into like an immediate halt to set upside. And just like I usually say, unless it does something stupid like 50s or something, ridiculous to the upside, I'm not really looking short there. But I don't have a hesitation. If it drags up something nonsensical like BlackBerry or maybe AMC, maybe not AMC, but more likely a BlackBerry, then I will short that name in sympathy. And I just think that's an easier way to go. So if we get a parabolic move, we halt up 2 or 3 times, I'd look for the turn on something else, look for another highly shorted name that's just going up on sympathy with this. I mean, it could be Beyond Meat. It's got a 40% short float. It could be BlackBerry, but it wouldn't necessarily be GME. I'm kind of with Citron. Unless it's ridiculously high where you'd feel much more comfortable that a pullback gives you a huge move and a lot of people are taking profit, I don't know that you want to take the shot at the short when it's bouncing off of all these levels recently.
Yeah, look, I mean, I wrote down here, it's on the sticky note today, it's $26. It's long. Yesterday, the long was absolutely monstrous. And it was, like I said, the #1 PL name yesterday. So here it is right here. Whoa, this is today's. Where's my GME trade from? Oh, there's Apple. Hey, what's up, Apple? Right there. Let's just see where we traded GME yesterday. So here we go. There's the 23 longs off the open. You see that, a couple outs there. There's the out at 28. That's $5. So, I mean, we're here to trade GME, so it needs to come into some good levels. That was that. We have more GameStop trades than this yesterday. We started trading it through $30. I don't know exactly where those trades are on here, but let's go chat GPT. No, we had this selected yesterday, and I like it. I like playing these dips in GameStop. I still think this name works, and, down 4%, no surprise. We said that we don't know where this name's going to be at open, and I think 26 is a good level. Back over to the desk.
Let's go to Affirm here, just taking out the highs right now. Once again, we got above 36 and held. Day high is coming into play right now. Now 7% to the upside coming up this fall. Their product's going to be added to Apple Pay as well.
Yeah, this is really interesting here because you're going to actually be able to use this for in-app purchases. So anything that may cost a little bit more than you'd like to spend at the moment, you're going to be able to actually, finance this over a period of 30 days, 20 days, or whatever. There's going to be multiple different time frames here that you can use. And the thing is, it's going to be integrated within the OS itself. I think that puts it ahead of some of its competitors. We'll have to see how this pans out in real life. But a firm coming out and saying they're not really expecting too much in terms of revenue from this association this year. It's more of a 2025 story, Brandon.
Yeah, still it's worth noting, still a slight short float on this as well, about 10% of the float short, guys.
Yeah, I love how it's in context that we say a slight 10% short float. That's because everything else that we look at that we trade on a heavy basis has with real short floats is like 20, 30, 40. 10% is a pretty solid number. I mean, if you're short and you're not considering whether you'd be covering when every single bounce, you've got a ridiculous trend line. And I know it looks a little bit there. If you draw both ends of the channel, it's pretty clear that it's holding almost the exact same range. And this is for the entirety of this year. So it's about half a year that you've been holding this channel. And we didn't even want to be bullish. The last time it touched the top of the channel, it never got to the bottom, and now it's breaking out the top. So it actually holds a significant 28 level. I think longs back into 34. It's kind of far gone now, all the way up at 36. Didn't really think we'd be playing this far away from the 34 level, and then 830 happened, and the economic, the CPI came out, and it kind of drifted us way above. So we'll have to look for ways to join this. VWAP will be in play, 35.5 at the open, at 35 even. But I want to see bounces off those and only be looking long. If it's above 34, then I'm looking for long trades in Affirm. It was good yesterday. I think this could work for a while as long as it holds this breakout of this channel. There's something. I was mentioning Micron there. I just wanted to point this out. It's not the same channel, but it's a similar kind of deal with Micron. It was an up channel, so not a down channel, and then it broke it. Just to give you an idea of what this looked like when Micron did a similar move. It held the channel for a year. This is it breaking the channel back in March. So, higher highs, higher lows in this case instead of the opposite. Still bullish. And if you were patient enough with it, it dips, and this right here is exactly the previous high and what was the top of the channel. So that when I say this could work for a while in a firm, even if it breaks back out 15, 20% and then pulls back, if it holds the previous top of the channel, sometimes you get the real acceleration after that, because that's what happened over here in Micron just a few months ago. And even this is starting to get too far away. That 135 on Micron. We're at 138.50 on Micron, up 2.5%. So I think we're gonna need some patience here off the open.
KWE, the next Palantir. No, I don't even know what KWE is. I'll have to look at that. Palantir is coming back into $24. So let's have a look at that one again off the open. Remember, the market is still 10 minutes away. You're still up 0.9%. Looks like we're going to have that 1% move just to hold it off the open. And then we'll see if it comes back on that CPI print. Normally, you'll see a lot more movement here with that print. But, I mean, straight up and basically holding the highs right now. I mean, you're 25 points underneath its high right now and trying to hold. So, I mean, I like all these long ideas here today, including one that is like really been a good one. I did not pull the trigger down there, but it came right into levels that I liked. And we had talked about $64, honestly. Like, I mean, we can just... The thing about me is if you're going to listen to me about stuff that I say, like, I don't just say, like, what if this happens or anything like that. Like, I'm trying to say, like, this level here at 64, it's just like Oracle, why we're long down there at 104, 107. It's like, if you like this stock, this was a great area. Coming into the 200 period, we talked about it. I'm not going to sit here and say we bought any because we didn't. I was very nervous about this stock, and we talked about it. But Uber right now, wow, that's up now 10%. Forget about Shopify. I mean, you heard that call. This one right here, I mean, $64. If you guys were able to pull the trigger on that one, congratulations. A nice move breaking above this 50 period. I really like this name. Today, Uber, 69.70. Good level. That's where the 50 period moving average is. I like Uber, and I think it continues to work. So someone else does too. There's Uber on the buy side today. Oracle's got a bid under it as that continues to go a little bit higher now, breaking back above 134. There's gold as a sell, but we already talked about gold today, trying to make a move back up. And then there's GameStop, 70,000 shares, but going the wrong way right now for GME. So we'll see if that comes in later or not. But I still like GME down there at 26. I like Palantir here at 24. But letting things settle down, I think, is going to be pretty key this morning.
All right, Ford with a minor announcement, some job cuts coming through. This was late yesterday, but some job cuts coming through in the pre-market this morning. It's up with the overall market anyways. We had a bit of a back and forth couple of days, if you remember, going back to Friday. Really strong, and then we give it all back, basically right back to where it was at the beginning of the day on Friday yesterday.
So GM in the headlines yesterday, Brendo. Today it's Ford's turn. 1,600 jobs, sadly, are going to be cut at the Valencia, Spain assembly. That assembly has 4,700 individuals working, so 1,600 large majority. Of those 1,600, 600 are going to be permanent, with 1,000 possibly here to be rehired at that specific plant. They're looking at starting production of a hybrid vehicle in 2027. They want to produce 300,000 of these at this specific plant by 2027.
It seems like both of them, I mean, you mentioned GM there. They came out with those revised numbers yesterday on the EV side of things as well. It seems like both of these are just doing anything to, it's almost like 1 week they do this, next week they're going in this direction and adjusting as they go. So, they haven't really found a clear path towards where this market is going yet, but higher anyways here to start today.
Yeah, it's a 1.7% move. You never want to sniff at that. You never want to just scoff at something like that. But Ford, not always the best trade, especially if you don't get it at that perfect price. Like, if it's already at the top of what has been a very distinct range for it. So this is a hard pass for me because of that. Like, the buy has generally been off this 200 period moving average, the days that it's holding it. Like, you had a failure, you get back above, suddenly it's holding $12 again. So, longs off 12 are good, but it's at 12.30. That's essentially what is a normal day move, and it's already happening for Ford. So I think that's a bit of a nothing burger. If we're looking at EV names outside of Tesla, Rivian's trying to take out this resistance here at 12.20. Gentle move to the upside. It has done nothing parabolic yet. Right? Good bounce off 10, consolidation higher, starting to run. If it can get through 12.20, I think this one can go. It's got a decent enough short float here with Rivian at 19%. So that can be a good one. I know Randy yesterday was talking about Lucid specifically. Just have never, we don't usually see a lot of movement with Lucid, which is disappointing because it's got the bigger short float. As I look, load. Oh, you know what? I'm still not getting any data on trade ideas for Lucid short float, but it was always bigger than the 19% on Rivian. I'm guessing that's going to be adjusted. I'd be interested in it if it was doing what we saw on Rivian, like Rivian, gentle upward trend, trying to break out highs. Lucid, I mean, this is really just fallen asleep here. So I think in the EV space, it's got to be about for me Rivian, Tesla. Unfortunately for Tesla, it was a great short yesterday. That's all I can tell you. You know, I had 73 marked off and then kind of missed out on a Mara trade at the open, which we wanted to have. And I've said this before, you've got to be able to stay focused. Whatever situation you're in, you miss a trade, you make a trade, you know, something happens, like a fly is flying around and bothering you, or like your back hurts. You've got to stay focused on whatever the next opportunity is going to be, and then just finding that. Because yesterday, the two ideas I liked the most at the open, I didn't really get either one, but you're able to sort of lock in, find Tesla consolidating, then breaking a 170 for a couple of bucks, then find Nvidia breaking down a double bottom, and then that was a good trade. Finding Apple late for a 200 break, but that's only because you stay focused. You can't get wrapped up in everything that's sort of going around you. Just work on that next trade. So that same level that it broke down at the open on Tesla, I just think unless it's past that, it's not safe yet on Tesla. And we talked about that 50-period moving average being a good thing. Daniel Shea mentions it all the time. You're still failing underneath it after holding it for a month on Tesla. It held this 50-period moving average, essentially. You're failing underneath, and until it breaks back above, it's hard to be short-term bullish on that stock. But at least Rivian's in an upward trend. That's the difference. Lucid doing nothing but trending down. Rivian at least is trending up. That's the only one I want to look for longs on today.
Look, the last, I think the last buy here, I mean, I bought Rivian down there at 11 and a quarter. Finally, I was mocking myself because every time I looked at it, it was either lower or at exactly an 11 and a quarter. So right now it's nice that we're up to 12 and change, right? And so we're almost now $1 in the money on 11, so it's not bad. We'd like to get this up to 13 or 14, and then we could really see potentially a breakout. So I'm pretty comfortable buying and holding these Rivian shares. I said this yesterday, and I'm gonna do it today. Well, actually, it's not really pulling back that much. We're up another 1% there. I was a little bit nervous yesterday, and I was mad at myself when GM came out and put a lower forecast on EVs. EV sales. So that was obviously bad, and that's what started this move. And I was like, oh God, I was just talking about it on the show about getting out of some GM, and I actually wanting to get out of some Ford as well. So I think all of these names, I don't think they're really great investments. And if you listen to the Freedom and Wealth podcast, you may know that if you've been in Ford over the last 20 years, you probably would wake up right now and realize that you're still stuck 20 years ago because the price is still $12. It might even be lower than where it was 20 years ago. And then you get the amazing, what is it, a 1% dividend or something? I'm not super interested in this, and I feel really silly actually being a shareholder in this name. But I mean, some of you may like it. It's a completely dead name. You either buy the ultimate dips or sell the ultimate tops, but sitting in this seems to be a waste of time, and I've wasted my time. So we'll wait to see what happens with Ford. I'm in the money. I'll check. I'll tell you guys. I'll tweet it out today. I'll go double check the prices where I'm in, but I'm not. I'm just kind of like, meh. I mean, it might be better than Tesla. I don't think there's any headwinds, so to speak, with Ford as much as maybe there are Tesla. I just don't like, and I said this yesterday, not in love with the automotive space right now. I'm in love with, I almost said an Akon song there. All right, 123 and change coming through. This is, I mean, my eyes are going to be on Nvidia here with only 2 minutes left. The imbalance locator, the NASDAQ came out a while ago, 925, but there's the king. We'll see what happens with Palantir. Uber, great call. Not much has changed. Oh, there's Rivian. So Rivian is on the bid. As we just talked about Rivian at 12.10 now, 12.25. So with a minute left, this market's going to be a bit silly. Do we have to go over to the professor? All right. Professor, what are you teaching us today?
expanding triangles today, Sean, on how to trade. If you're into that kind of thing, and if you like these kind of continuation patterns, and this one is a bit of a bamboozler. Sometimes it can be a continuation, sometimes it's a reversal. If you're into that kind of thing, check that out with Adair and I on How to Trade at 11.
We were talking about those channels on daily charts, long-term charts. We found a few of them yesterday that are breaking out. Just one more before we get to this market open. We have about a minute to go. I want to point out Mara up 2%. You saw that ridiculous reverse that all of the crypto names, including Coinbase, had yesterday. Failing 19, then breaking out above 19, like it was $1.50 if you went short at the open. It was almost $1 if you had it off the 19, and then in between you could have had a buck off of VWAP. So lots of volatility in this name. I want to look at that consolidation and close just underneath 20 bucks on Mara. So yesterday's chop zone, I want to look for dip buys. Keep your eye on Bitcoin. It hasn't really been doing much, and it's right around that 70,000. All better. Longs are better if it's breaking 70,000, but I'd hate to be punching long as it's literally failing 70,000. So keep an eye on Bitcoin if you're going to be trading Mara. I always have one up if I'm looking at the other. But let's get this Fed Day, Hump Day countdown started. Market opening in under 10 seconds. Let's go there in 4, 3, 2, and you know what to do.
All right, here we go, 123.50. All right, Rivian starting to go upside a little bit here, but we're not going to look too much at that as the U.S. markets are now open in 19.4 coming in pretty quickly there on the NASDAQ as we're starting to head a little bit lower. Apple is just still trying to moon, man. I mean, it just touched 208 again, which was yesterday's high. We did not break that, though. 208 and change right there for Apple, and now fading back in as this market makes a move back into VWAP. So a little bit of a move. I mean, I don't think it's anything to be worried about, but there is a move coming in right now on the market as Apple just touches 207 and bounces completely off of that. And now we'll see where we go for AAPL. Nice bounce off, probably takes 208.
Yeah, well, no dip on a firm that just made a fresh high already. You already mentioned Rivian bounced higher almost immediately. AMD, which is trying to hold on to, never mind. AMD, which was trying to hold on to $160. Oh, for the AMD, so whatever. AMD has just been relatively weak forever. It is dumping right now. AMD was chilling out at $161, now breaking negative down at 159. Don't chase move, don't chase move. Look for an opportunity. Again, this stock just continues to flush. What a move to the downside, AMD.
All right, I'm just watching out because we are long. We do have our first position on board. It's Nvidia, of course, and there it is right now. It's 50 cents in the... 50 cents in the money. I mean, all right, we're long right now, 122.90. We just take some out at 40s, and we're going to go longer through 50 here as it looks like it wants to break, and there it goes right now. There goes Nvidia. Let's see how high she can fly right now. I mean, you know, we like the stock. I like the market. We talked about that. We just broke through the day's high. Let's see if it continues to work. I mean, it's having a hard time, but this is what Nvidia does. I mean, I don't expect this name just to continuously fly up like Apple did yesterday, but I think dips get bought in this name, and let's see if we're wrong. That bottom is 122.50-ish. I think we'll just play off this pre-market bottom of, 122.40s, something like that. So we're trying to make this $1 worth, but again, the thing about this Nvidia play is, and I don't think our charts will be do it so much justice, but because we did have this split, I'll look at it at a different chart, but right now we are starting to get out as it's starting to rip higher here. Nvidia, here we go, man. It's going to be a big trade, hopefully, but we need this market to continue higher as well. Just bouncing now to the 50-period MA.
Speaking of breaking higher, good look on Nvidia. Oracle, we thought we would calm down, do dip buy. Oracle's taken out the top as well. I did get into Rivian, but with this move up in Nvidia, I'm looking at that AMD fade, and if it can hold back above 160, why is it still Oracle? If it can hold back above that 160 level, I might look to join it. The one I really wanted breaking the top was going to be Micron, but Micron, it's kind of already gone here. 139, if it can hold 138.5, we thought we'd look for some crazy dip buys in this if we could get them, but you're not going to see 135 now when you're at 139. I don't want to take a 140 break. I'd rather be long before it gets to that kind of a round number. So we're going to go for 138.5 here on MU. Apple about to take out the top as well. Don't want to take a break there. I thought we'd get dip buys. We'll have to go for like an 07. We're going to get into this Micron above this 138.5.
Nvidia is speechless. This is another one. We did it yesterday with Apple. Let's see if we can do it again here right now today. It's 70 cents in the money. And again, notionally, might be the biggest trade you'll see here today on the air. So let's wait to see what happens right now with Nvidia trying to go back up to the upside here. Oh man, like if I think this market's going to be up huge today, we're only up 1%. Maybe this is worth holding. But there's the pullback again. We're out of a little bit more than half. So I felt pretty good about holding that up to there into 124. But now we are starting to fade out a little bit. Let me just get out of a little bit more. Oh, I'm reverting to my old self. I'm trying to hold as much as I possibly can. But then again, P&L chasing it, right? So let's just hold out, man. We just got a great fill up there at 124.25. We're just slowly adjusting ourselves here and see if we can get a bigger move upside for NVDA. I mean, the king of the castle, and everybody else is simply just a dirty rascal at this point because Apple is just like ripping right now back up to the upside, 210. We should have taken the 208 break. Instead, we went over to Nvidia. Probably a mistake there as Apple right now going to take out 210. What an absolute monster, man. That 191 was a good fill. And we're still in our 169s long. So we're going to have to think about maybe getting out of some of that. But there it is, up to 210 right now goes Apple. Absolutely amazing. Palantir down to 24 and bounced as well.
Down. So by the way, AMD did not make a bounce, so we're getting away from that one. We're only in Rivian. I'm not going to take a 210 break here.
God.
I want to wait a little bit later for that one. But GameStop's about to break 30 to the upside.
Yeah,
so it's about to break this local high at the $30 level. I'm going to take the break. I thought maybe we'd be getting into like a halt at the open, but you saw that stock dip pretty much after all that Syntron nonsense. So GameStop just made a bit of a local break. I'll give this to 29.80. And then see if it wants to make that move. The pre-market highs are like 31.80, so I would like to be out in front of that. If it goes into a halt, I would try to hold some through. So it's just GameStop, Rivian. I'm on the bid of Apple. Oh, there goes. Does not hold that 29.80.
Oh, God.
Take a 30 break. Does not hold that 29.80. And now Apple is at 210, so I got to get over there to AAPL. Rivian's holding. It's about 5 cents in the money. If it breaks a fresh high, that'll be 12.32. So I'm not offering until it gets to 12. The high 1220s on RIVN. But here comes 210 on Apple already.
I mean, Nvidia, Apple, GameStop longs. We knew about those ones. It's this Nvidia that we just dipped by into 123 again. So we like that trade, right? We've talked about this. Now we're long at 122.80s again and not fooling around. So let's wait to see if it can go higher here. I mean, again, I like the stock, but I'm not trying to get too excited about it because so far so good here on Nvidia as it goes. Yeah, so big trade here, needless to say. Yeah, we'll see what else can happen. But that's a good one right now. If you're looking for the winners, we've got one on board here. I know Neil's been on GameStop, Micron, and Rivian. So a couple good trades. We'll wait to see. Hopefully this one will moon. It's a big one, and it's been so far so good. The missed opportunity for myself, of course, is Palantir. But Palantir is coming right back into $24 again. So I have a lot of exposure to the long with Nvidia, which is just right. I'm going to have to take another piece out here as we're right back into 123.50 again. So let's take another piece out on that. Wow, on that dip by reload. What a trade. And there goes Apple. We cannot be happier about Apple today, man. Up to 210 and change, Sharif. We're rocking on this one. Apple today, Nvidia today, Palantir today, everything. Good. We'll have to watch out for Tesla and see what's up with Adara.
Downs Tesla.
We have that GME move, but some of these other higher, shorter float names are running today. We have Blink Charging here up about 10%, BLNK, short float of about 19%. We also have QuantumScape here up about 9%, QS, this one has a short float of just over 10%. So keep an eye on some of these names with larger short floats. Looks like some of them are getting a run, guys.
Yeah, the only ones with short floats I'm looking at are going to be Rivian, which it got that high of the day really quickly. We got out, we're looking for that break. We didn't get the breakout on Rivian, so we're going to have to go right back into the dip buy. So we didn't get the break. We're going to look for VWAP in here. We had 15s. It broke that 30 level. We're just in Micron, which is following everything else up, and Apple was a good break at 210. It's not really $1, but it's already like 60 cents in the money, and it really didn't look back if you took it. I thought we'd get some kind of a dip. Like yesterday, You did that break, and then you kind of dipped, and then you made the break of 200. This time it just said 210, we're going right away. So very different from yesterday's move in that there was at least a consolidation when it went that first 50. On the offer, 139, and then 140. We already talked about this being a kind of a rough spot for Micron as it already failed once. AMD, if I'm going to short something, I don't know how AMD is
Apple
one of the,
is fucking
just one of the more ridiculous ones. Apple, that
Let's
breakout,
go.
210 was actually very, very clean.
Oh, yeah.
Which usually when it goes $4 right away, you're expecting some kind of a dip, but it doesn't even want to dip on Apple. So we had to look to join it at some point. We were able to find our way into it late last time, but that was on an even dollar. 200 is really easy to take because it's a 200 offer and there's a million shares on it, so you just punch long when it breaks. I think it's a bit different here on Apple. So I look for that 210 on the way back in here. Give me a round number, show buyers in front of it, buy stock.
Look, we have to show you guys, it's one trade. This is the trophy today, right there, as it's just one trade, and it's a simple one. It's Nvidia, it's buy the dips. We talked about that. Again, trade could come out, who knows? We still have some decent size on, so let's just take some out as we get back up into 124. Obviously, we have FOMO about Apple. I mean, yesterday we absolutely destroyed that one on pretty, a similar break. I mean, we wanted 194 yesterday. We knew we wanted to, that's still Nvidia. We knew we wanted 210 there. I just, for some reason, didn't pull the trigger. So, yeah, a little bit of, trigger fingers turn Twitter fingers on that one because we just sat there and watched it. I mean, we already have a lot of exposure, and that's probably why I didn't do it. But again, look at Apple go. I mean, honestly, I don't even want to check the account right now because like this Apple position and look, yesterday I said it with high conviction about how much I loved Apple, what I thought this Apple AI, what I thought that WWDC meant for the stock, what I thought about the super cycle, how good their products are, how they're now leaps and bounds ahead. Everyone's going to be doing everything with Apple now. And honestly, the stock price and big money agrees. I mean, this is not stopping here. Unbelievable move. Another 2 and a bit % to add on to the 8 yesterday. They gained $250 billion, 2 Intels yesterday alone on that, on Gen Emoji. Like, I mean, this is a monster move up, and just get on board at some point because honestly, this move just continues to go higher. If GME stops somehow at 26. Okay, good. I was going to say because definitely missed that Palantir, but we did not miss GameStop because it didn't come into our levels, but it was a great long, needless to say today, as there goes GameStop. We said we're not shorting this at all, and I'm not doing that until I get a downside halt. So we'll have to have that up, and hopefully we'll be able to see when exactly it does halt. But, I mean, we're lifting up trophies here, and it's because of this. Yesterday it was the big dog in Apple. Today it's the big dog in Nvidia. And right now, Neil is a $1 winner right there and more as we try to break through 124. I said we'd be here today, and we're here today. And there it is again. We did it yesterday with Apple and GameStop. Now we're doing it here today with Nvidia. And again, the #1 trade idea on the sticky note there today is Nvidia. And we took it, and we believe in it. And it's paying off.
Make money, make money, make money. That's what it's all about. I'm not worried. Don't worry about the FOMO in Apple. Apple ran all day yesterday, and if it does it again today, there's going to be a chance to get into it. And you know that to be true. That's how the market works. If it's going to do something special, it did it yesterday. I think if you found it late, you found it early, it didn't matter. It made all dreams come true. And I think that's an important thing to remember. You don't have to get that FOMO. I like 210. I wait for 210. I did jump back into Rivian. We're in and out. Higher low got put in. The breakout price, which we got out in front of, it dipped right into it. So when we talk about taking the stairs to the upside, generally speaking, it's higher lows, sometimes VWAP, sometimes the previous breakout price into that 1250 level. Like what's going on here in Rivian, I think there's room to $13 on this bad boy. Affirm. There's really not much to say about Affirm except it's now up 14%. So this is it's gone. 15% now to the upside on Affirm. This one is absolutely ridiculous. Micron's about 80 cents. It went about $1 in the money, but I'm looking for a break of $140 into the upside on that particular name. But I'm not on the bid of Affirm anymore. The dip buys I want are now $3 away on a firm as that's completely gone. So we're in a couple of longs. I don't really have any short ideas at the moment. So we just got to be calm, be patient. That's what led to green yesterday and finding those like 10 o'clock type plays. Once you're in your open trades, I think we're in the hold zone now.
Oh man, the zone that we're in, I mean, let's just do this. I mean, this is now almost $2 in the money on Nvidia. I mean, this is the name for us, man. This is the name for us. I mean, Apple just continues as well. I'm not even sure we should be getting out of Nvidia at all. This could be, well, it might already be the biggest trade. All right, what's up, Adara?
Keep an eye on Upstart here. This is another heavily shorted name getting a nice move up today. UPST currently up about 11%. This one is a short float of just under 30% from what I'm seeing. So UPST, nice look here, guys.
Upstart. All right, we'll look at that. I'm just going to get out some more of Nvidia here. I mean, I feel like really good about where we are. I mean, we're at day's high. We have the low ticks today on Nvidia. I mean, this chart right here came right back into the pre-market level. And remember what I told you about this trade? We were getting out if it broke 40s. So right now we're long at 75. So that's 30 cents worth of risk. And we're in the money at $1.60. So far, so good on that one. And yeah, it looks like today Nvidia will be PL #1 on the floor. So that's absolutely great. And I want to say a shout out to everybody that hit this with us here today again. And if you're looking for trade ideas, I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible. I mean, you guys want real trading. This is what it is right here. This is the work that we put in for you every single day. You know, giving some levels that we like, taking some trades. Let's go back over and look at Tesla, GameStop, Apple, and we don't have Palantir on here, but we did talk about Palantir, so we will have a quick look at that. Let me just look at Tesla real quick. I'm right now, and again, I know that I chase P&L, and I talk about that all the time. So President Biden speaking, okay. All right, let's just wait to see. Oh, President Biden said price is still high. That's nice to be, you know, have a couple $100 million in the bank and saying comments like that. Shut your mouth. All right, so right now Tesla up to 174 was a level potentially that we were looking at. And look what happened. The high of the day, 173.80. Oh, damn, Neil. We did it again on that one right there if you're looking for shorts. Unfortunately, my focus right there is on Nvidia. But again, everybody checking Sticky Note Nation, you got it again right there. That's $1 plus in the money on that trade. So we'll see if Tesla goes the other way, as we'll just take, again, $2 on this Nvidia trade right now. And look, I told you it was the highest notional trade of the day, and I told you that at 9:35. So, I mean, you guys want to talk about like having faith in a stock and then telling you guys about it? I mean, that's the trade right there. It's Nvidia. It's a monster. It's now $2. So let's just keep on going, man, and see where we go. I like what you're saying, Neil. Maybe we're just in hold mode now. And it's just funny because
that's the thing, because
when you're on Mars, you think you're too high.
Yeah, the NASDAQ just got to 19.5 here. So when you're at these kinds of levels, I think if you're hitting the buy key, maybe it's on something which is playing catch up instead of already gone. It can be really, really tricky. If we're up 1.3%, it's a Fed day. Let's not lose sight of that. So a lot of times I feel like we've gotten to the 1.5 to 2% mark on a Fed day, and then you slow down a little bit. So I'm not hitting any buy keys on anything all the way up here. I think I want to be a little bit more patient. I do like what's going on over there in AMD, however, because that was an absolute dog into up 1%. So what I just said, look for something which is catching up. If MU fails 140 again, I'm getting out. It's gone up and down that 140 level, which we're trying to hold through. I'm going to get out if it fails 140. But AMD just came right back in after breaking out the highs. If this can hold a higher low off that 160, I think we got a little something here on AMD to join this party.
It's not ridiculous.
But we do like it. It hasn't really followed
It's supposed to be
Nvidia,
4,000.
unfortunately. But at the end of the day, you know, this stock has held on the daily chart. So it's back above the 50 period moving average. We said it's above
pennies
50.
or dollars?
You want
That's
that
the
long
thing,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's both different kinds of strategies, as we just talked to the professor over here. All right, so we're just talking about some stocks you catch pennies, some stocks you catch dollars, and I mean, we're trying to do that here with Nvidia, and I'm using like the same shares that I would catch pennies with, trying to catch dollars with. So that's why when it pays off, it pays off. So right there, nice move, and actually probably more shares. So all right, here we go. 125 right now inbound on Nvidia. Remember, this is 1250. Times 10. Trading might be okay, math not the strongest, but here we go, 124. Oh man, good thing I'm already married. All right, 124.80 coming into play right now. Let's see, like we don't have too many shares left. I guess that's in the eye of the beholder. What we have left is about 20 to 25% or so of what we had, maybe a little bit less than that. One more out here in the 80s, and then I feel comfortable. It's just we're bouncing around here. I don't know, 124, 125. Good trade on Micron over there. Nice to see Rivian finally in the money again. For me, up where we are, we're in that name at 11.25. We're going to find out about that if that does make a move. I want to check out PayPal and stuff. One stock that I just saw somebody wrote, and I've kind of left this one a little bit, because we were able to, and we talked about this, we're still in some Disney. I mean, this is not something where I'm going to say like, oh, I got out on the high and didn't tell anybody, or I bought more on the dip. No, I didn't buy any more of Disney. I didn't get out of any more either. So we got out. We were talking about this. We got some out at 112. Then we got some out at 115, and we got some out up here at, I think it was 120, maybe 121. We definitely don't have like any 124s. And I've got out, I think maybe one more time into here, but definitely not enough as we fall all the way back into 100. And as you look at Disney here on the day chart, it looks like it wants to break below this $100 level. So again, a little bit of a rebalancing situation maybe happening in people's portfolios for Disney if it does break that level. We can't get above 75 here on Nvidia, so I'm just going to take I just tried to punch 72. I'm going to, oops, there it is, I got it. So we're just going to take 72s right there on Nvidia and put $2 again. This is the level. We like it. We'll see. Apple is like at 214. It's unbelievable that I'm not long this name. I mean, yesterday, we only had Neil yesterday, just a $10 winner. Right now here today, it's given it again right there. But like I said, we're actually up more today on Nvidia than we were on Apple yesterday. So, I mean, just believe that. With 20 minutes in right now, we have one trade, and it's a podium.
Yeah, Apple was so good, but the difference between Apple yesterday and today was it gave you like a second shot. It gave you a third shot. It's so far gone now. I'm asking myself, can you take a 215 break? Up 3% at 10 o'clock? The answer might be yes, but I'm not there just yet. So I'm not going to do it. I said I would get out of Micron if we started trailing back. I put a trailing stop. I was trailing it at that 140 level if it got to 39.5, and then trailing it at 140 when it got to 140.5. And then when it tagged up here at 141, I got at 140.5. So I guess $2 is a magic number. So we did get the Micron in there. Again, everyone just has to trade your own style. Like for myself, if it works, going station to station. There's days where you get that move and it doesn't go further and you look great, and there's days it does go further and then you're like, I should have held on to it. But I'm always looking for that dip at around 10 o'clock to get back into the trend. Rivian, first trade was good. Second trade was okay. Third trade will be off VWAP here, so we're taking the stairs up. Just keep in mind, we just got the 19.5. Rivian in a bit of a pullback here. So it's pulling back when the market's going higher. And if you're looking at what's going on in Tesla, like Tesla just dipped into VWAP and it's going up. So very similar patterns. I'd like that to hold. If I see Tesla breaking highs and Rivian can't bounce, I might jump out of this one for sure. And then Affirm. Yeah, I mean, Affirm is trying to consolidate up here. I said I will not chase any highs, taking any breakouts in Affirm once it was so far past what we wanted for the long, which is down around $30, $34, $35. We'll look at VWAP. Can VWAP hold? It's a pure squeeze name that got the Apple news and was riding some coattails. They hit 15% to the upside on Affirm. I think some shorts are pretty, scared's not the word. They're probably already covering, and they were scared yesterday.
Oh, they're still scared, I would think. Scared a lot. I mean, anybody that short that name into 200 and thought that today there was a pullback day. I mean, I thought that we could get a little bit of a pullback in Apple as well, and now it's just absolutely gonzos. I mean, I don't know. Yesterday we thought that maybe some people were buying Apple and selling Nvidia. Says Stone Cold. Not today, as the market just keeps on going higher here for both of these names. We just got out another piece as we broke through 50. Again, now we have about 15% left of this trade. And like I said, we don't want to throw it back. We're not going to throw it back. But maybe if we break through 124, we can think about getting out of this one because, again, you can hold things forever. There's no doubt about that. And we've already done that, I feel like. We've been in this trade right now for 25 minutes, and it's going to be the biggest trade here. So, I mean, this is going to be a good one. I like the stock here. We might as well stay in it. Let's look for something else. Palantir is right here. So this, little bit surprised. I'm going against myself here by looking at Palantir because I don't necessarily like a stock that is at its lows while the market is still at its highs. Now, the thing about this market is right now we are at 13.5. So we're not necessarily, 13.5, 19.5. So that's another key psychological level possible for a pullback, I guess, in some of these names. So we can wait for Palantir. It is bouncing off that 200 period. It might be worth a shot down here in and around this 200 period, which is 24 bucks. So why don't we just put a little bid down here? And again, it won't be a big one for me considering this, but we'll put on a little bit at 24 if we can get it. And then I really want to watch out for this 23.90. If somehow we break that early candle down, then let's get out of Palantir. You know what? I'll put a little bit of a bid here at 06. Maybe we get some now. But ultimately, I feel like I need to be loaded up down at these levels and then wait for that to break. I still like the stock, but yesterday was really superheated. That's Palantir. Let's see what winds up happening. Nice pullback in Nvidia as well. No pullback in Apple.
Yeah, just scanning to see what's relatively strong, what's relatively weak. I just saw ARM kind of pop up that it was above 150. If it can reclaim 150, maybe, but that's already starting to pull back as Nvidia's pulling back, so it might not be the right moment to strike on any kind of an ARM trade. I got out of Micron. At least for now, it seems like it was the right decision, but if this move is going to continue, let's look at 139.25 is about where VWAP might be. So if we can get a bounce off of that, I don't mind jumping back into that trade. I'm only laughing because we are at 215 on Apple.
Yes, sir.
So
I'm checking my account. F this.
I don't want to. I've done this thing where in my personal account, when something becomes like really, really big of a weighting, I've been trimming some. But the last two times that happened, I took out 10% of Eli Lilly and like 8% of Nvidia, and neither one of those were good decisions in hindsight. So I'm trying to make not do that on Apple, which if you look at your account, you're going to be wanting to do that. So I actually did get to 215 and pull back a little bit here. So it must have been some size on the offer that I didn't see. But it is pulling back in Apple. This will be the first red candle on a 3-minute. And it might be the first opportunity to get into this. I want to be, if we fail 19.5 and Apple pulls back, I want something short. I have not found anything that is setting up a good short. So then I'm just not going to take any. If I don't see something, if it doesn't set up, you don't have to take it. I think that's pretty important. Usually by now I'd find something that's weak and be like, let's get into that. But even Intel strong. Now what can I say? This is holding higher lows all the way through just like the market. So if you guys know anything that's relatively weak, let me know. Mara. Apparently. What's Bitcoin doing? Nothing.
69.3.
Mara just got back to VWAP, bouncing off $20. Oh, that was the $20 level. Yep. Right off the $20 level, Mara, and already up 2% off 20.
Okay. Yeah, the only trade, I mean, again, if you're looking for some ideas, it's the sticky notes. You can go double check that right there. But at the end of the day, the short that I liked was Tesla, and I think maybe if we can get back up to that level, which we're here right now, is this 174. We did talk about Palantir. That's just kind of going lower right now as the market goes higher. So we definitely want to check that stock in a couple seconds. We did get out 124.50, another piece of Nvidia, but that price isn't going to change now. I have an offer at 125. If we don't get 125, then we're not going to worry about it. All right, we could try Tesla up here at 174. I mean, this is a level that we've talked about. Apple's trying to pull back just a little bit. So let's try a little bit here on Tesla. We didn't get that good price up there when it was in the 70s, but we are now short here. No, we're not. We're not short anything. We didn't get that fill. Oh, there it is. Now we're short. We're short at 56. I was like, we got 56s? All right, so now we're short at 56 here on Tesla. Let's give it a little bit northbound of 174 and just see if that level works. Very good chance it doesn't with this ripping market. But as Neil mentioned, though, we know we're looking to get into something short, maybe because of 19.5. So far, so good here. Let's wait to see what happens. We're trying to get a little bit more up in and around 174, but this one is a quick one. So I don't want all the Elon fans out there to be like, why is this guy shorting? Why? I don't mind that. Well, here it goes. I'm not short for long. If this breaks 174, we are out right now. This could be the L. Almost. It's almost getting higher. Is it going to be a fail or not? Oh, a little bit of a fail back in, but not too much of one. All right. Yeah, it looks like Tesla right now is at our sticky note level. Normally, I would give this a little bit more room, but being short in something when we've called this market a 2% move today might not be reasonable. But there's Tesla pulling back in. Let's just take that fill. There it is. We'll take some 65s, pull this name back in there. Good stop. So, hey, now I don't feel so bad anymore for doing that. But there we go. We'll see if we can get something else here on Tesla just to take away some of this pressure because we are pennies away from being stopped out. So there you go, man. I'll complain a lot about things going bad, taking high ticks, taking low ticks. Right there, we got lucky and able to get out of some of that Tesla for basically flat there in the 70s and 60s. So now let's wait to see. It looks like we are still going to get higher here on Tesla because the market's not moving and this thing's going higher. So that is not a recipe for the success that we're looking for anyways. And the same thing's true for Palantir. This one's going down. Oh, what?
No,
123, oh my God, I didn't have a bid at 24. I thought I put a bid at 24 and I went over to Tesla. Okay, well again, props up for anybody that listened to me. I didn't listen to myself.
So I'm into Apple, but I did something very similar to Sean where I went to add in front of 213 and I ended up bidding on Rivian instead. I'm going to leave the Rivian bid in because it was at VWAP, so it was a good price. But Apple's starting to bounce. I wanted in front of 213. It's the first dip that we've even had. The first red candle was at 215, $7 higher. Check that, $9 higher from the open. And it's right back into those highs. Apple's ridiculous. Let's go to Adara. Shoot, I did the wrong stuff.
What an exciting day it's already been for the markets, and we still haven't even had the FOMC meeting yet. That's going to come at 2 p.m., followed by comments and a press conference from Fed Chair Powell coming through at 2:30. We do have the SPY and NASDAQ's near their highs right now. Really nice look for both of these. We have Apple continuing strong and actually apparently overtaking Microsoft as the world's most valuable company, or at least poised to take that at the end of, or by the end of the close if things hold up there. So really interesting look, lots of excitement today, especially with that CPI print coming generally slightly lower than expected across the board. Some other stocks to keep an eye on here include Affirm. This is a day two play here, still about 13%. Apple announcing that Affirm's payment products are expected to be available to Apple Pay users in the U.S. later in 2024. This announcement came out yesterday, but nice day two move for AFRM. We also have SoFi and a lot of these other heavily shorted names here. SoFi has a short float of about 17%. SoFi, Upstart, and quite a few other names with higher short floats trading higher today. SoFi currently up about 5% right now. And last but not least, GME. This is, of course, one of the heavily short floated names. There's also a catalyst on this one, moving around a little bit today after completing an at-the-market equity offering program as announced yesterday after close. So no shortage of names to keep an eye on today as we head into the FOMC meeting, guys.
Short float name. Sorry, SoFi sucks. If you're a short float name recently that's supposed to get all that retail love and then GameStop and all these other ones do all this crap and you're not moving, that means you're not good. And I say that as I'm not a bag holder because I'm literally long exactly where it's been for this forever, essentially. So Apple, I was trying to add more in front of 213. We went 213.5 to 215 and then took the 215 break, double top breakout on Apple. The slippage was actually bigger than normal on Apple. I got 18s on Apple, just to give you an idea. Usually a fill of a even dollar break, you're getting like 10s or sometimes even 7s or 8s. But I got 18s on the way through on a 215 break. I'll have one more offer out in front of 216, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Rivian, we're only long right now. Like I said, I can't find any shorts that I like. It's not that I'm forcing the action. It's just that we're at 19.5 on the futures. And when I see a resistance level on the futures, my thought is, what's the short going to be, and can you find anything if we fail that level? So I did get that last fill on Apple, just getting another order out there on Rivian. If we hold 215, I stay in it. But if we reject this up here, I think you look right back into 213. If you reject the 215 level, I'm looking right back into 213 for a dip buy on Apple. The breakout so far so good, but I feel like it was better yesterday off 210. It sounds crazy to say. That's so far away. We're just at, sorry, 210, 200, I mean. And now all of a sudden you're taking a 215 break. 200, 215. It's Apple. Like, this isn't Nvidia. Apple is doing this right now. Just goes to show. When they like it, they like it.
Yeah. I mean, we've, oh man, this Apple, we did check the account. We're pretty jacked up. We're actually in the money now, 28%. On this swing trade now for Apple that we took down here at 169. I know the professor, wherever he is, he's in this name as well. So shout out to Professor buying these dips as well and talking about it. And you know what? It did take a little bit there. I mean, a lot of people, as you know, were haters of Apple, including all those BS stories in China. I mean, what a crazy story that was. As Apple continues to go higher. And by the way, we did it finally. We'll put down a hot dog cannon a little bit there as we get some out at 13s. And then again now at 8s on Palantir. We're just long at 02s. Like we said, remember, we have the ability to do lots of different things here at Real Trading, including scalping. And we'll have the big ones, obviously, with Nvidia. As Nvidia's right now back into the $1 and $2 club right here as it goes. We said we were going to wait for 175, or sorry, 125 here. And remember also what I said a couple days ago as we went a little Nostradamus here, and we talked about how my number one stock moving forward will probably be Nvidia. And then right there, right now, it's exactly that. So we're pretty happy with the way it's going. Trust me, bro, says Rivian Millionaire. Palantir is going up. So I'll trust you, bro, on that one. I mean, we've already, like I said, made some money on this name. Our good out right there is at the 50 period, which is 13s. The problem with that Rivian Millionaire is that I do trust lots of people, but I trust myself the most. And that's what's got me here right now. That's, where, basically how this show was born. So let's just stick with the plan here and not get too much FOMO looking somewhere else. I mean, right now we're out of half of Palantir. It did go to the 50 period moving average. We have to stick with our guns a little bit. I will reload this thing. That needs to come. I mean, whatever. O's are 98. I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter. So let's just sit here at O's and just take a shot. I'm not feeling as good about this one, obviously, as we were about our Nvidia trade. So if we can scalp this back and forth and then use 90 as our out, then fine. So that's why I'm thinking, like, right now, VWAP and the 50 period moving average here on Palantir. And again, this is real time, like, discussing the trades that I'm in, So it's like, I know Neil does his thing of the day there at lunch, and then these guys do the whole time talking about strategies. But this is actually like putting in stock right now and talking about what we're doing. Like, so $24, I want to buy it. Why? Because my stop is going to be breaking through 90. That's 10 cents. The VWAP and the 50 period moving average are both 10 cents. So I just consider this kind of like a 1-to-1 trade on a name that I like long. But the reason why I'm not putting in a lot of shares is because it's not acting the way that I thought Nvidia might act, the way I thought Apple might act yesterday. It's down while the market is clearly up. So that's not a stock, a situation that would be loading into, So this one, we're going to have to wait for it right now. That is PLTR. Looks like we're about to get long, and then a stop out of 23.90. And if it breaks it, it breaks it. It will put us red on the name. So that's what we're going to do with Palantir, only because we didn't even write it down on here, but I know how strong this name has been. So let's continue to watch out for Palantir. It looks like the high on Tesla was 175, now breaking 174 back downside.
I'm guessing that is Fabian in the chat pointing out that BTC was at 69,420. So 69,420. It's not there anymore, but I guess it ticked there as I look over. It's right that price. Look, I'm out of Rivian. We liked it off VWAP. We were buying dips off VWAP, so dip buy, dip buy, dip buy. The fourth time through, it doesn't hold VWAP. We come to the chart, and it just bursted to the burst to the downside after. I was out at 23, VWAP was at 25. So Rivian, good early, now starting to come back in. I gotta ask myself if I want this. Like, this is almost exactly the same situation that Apple had yesterday, what Nvidia is doing at this 125 level. So stair step up into a double top at 125. I have it as not breaking. If there's anything above there was a dark pool, looks like 95 is the current high. The longer it holds it, the better. I think when you take a breakout trade, I love consolidation off these. So 125 breakout play for Rivian, I think, coming in. AMD, if it wants to follow suit, it's not doing it. Just absolutely tanking now. Breaking lows on AMD as Nvidia is going higher, but I'm still taking the break 125 on Nvidia. Might have found something worth a short at VWAP, and it could be AMD.
Yes, please. All right, so yeah, thank you, Randy. That'd be awesome. By the way, guys, thank you for believing in me. But I gotta believe in myself a little bit more too, because look at Tesla right now. We were short 174. We were even short 174.25. And now it's all the way down, and there it is, a complete move. I mean, we were dead right about dead wrong on the timing, but right, it looks like, as we were looking for something that was potentially weak into a strong market. We talked about Tesla there today, which is funny because it's not weak. It's just we saw it dip down in there yesterday, and I just think there's too many negative catalysts behind this name, so that's why I was trying to look the other way on this. We did get Palantir to come in a little bit here, not a lot, but a little for PLTR. So we took O's and we got out 05 there. So nothing to write home about. We are waiting for 08s, so we'll just scalp this in 5 cents. I mean, honestly, the range has been 10 cents since 9:53. So in the last 25 minutes, it's been 10 cents, or 20 minutes. It's been 10 cents worth of a move. So that's top to bottom. So we'll wait to see here if it can go a little bit more. We've already taken out 5 cents right there, pretty much negating any possible loss on this stock. But again, we want this to go a lot higher. So I'm not just going to sit here and let it happen. If it breaks back down below, it breaks back down below. I know you were in that Apple trade, and right now it's back up to 215, so good one on that. We'll see what happens here at 216 now with Apple.
I guess we're not getting 13s.
On Apple?
Oh, I'm back on the bid at 13, and it's about to break the high, so we're not going to get that.
Yeah, you could get it.
Yeah, I'm going to cancel it for now. The next thing that could happen, was going to quickly mention something about Micron, but we're at 124.90 on Nvidia, so I do have an order to break the 125 level. Micron looking pretty good off the 140, so I thought we'd get VWAP. Look, sometimes you play a pullback. I just like VWAP as a setup. It doesn't mean, hey, if something dips, why didn't you get to VWAP, Neil? I don't know. It just didn't, so it means it's pretty strong. Next available dip we'll have to take. You had one shot to get into this on the dip, and you had to take it at 140. So the next time there's a big red candle on Micron, I'm going right on over and looking for the curl. But as long as we're within 20 cents of 125, I am going to look for that breakout on AMD. Rivian, I don't know if I get back into. Apple, I want 123. Yeah, 213, sorry. AMD is the name that we're looking for the potential short on. Hey, that did not break.
Oh, shit. Nvidia right now. Let's go. Nvidia's 125 and ripping right now through it, man. There's a $2.50 winner. We talked about the trophy. The trophy's getting taller. Good go. Carnival. We will not keep going on that one. Shout out to Kanye. I want to see that next album, my guy. 125.20, trying to go now on Nvidia as we go. And we're short this name as well. We said wait for it, so here is. We're going to hope for.
Another one.
And then maybe even.
Another one.
But for right now, we are into Oracle, and it is, look, it's 20 cents in the money. Let's see if we can get back in here. We shorted against that 140. It's Oracle. We're putting this one on the board again right now, and let's see if we can get a quick 50 cents. Well, let's see a break first, and then maybe we can get 50 cents, put it a little bit lower than 139. Maybe that break sparks some people to get out, and we'll get a lower bid there, breaking back down through 139. But again, wouldn't surprise me if we continue to go higher. This was a good report for Oracle, up 13%. I'm shorting it against 140. Okay, so my out right there, if we're going to go 1-to-1 again and talk all about risk management like we try to do here on the show, that would be something for me to look at. So Oracle right now, trying to wait for a bigger move lower. Does that make sense? Bigger move lower.
Yeah. Move lower.
Larger move lower.
Larger
than where we are right now. So it's 30 cents in the money, but we're looking for more.
You want it to move bigly.
Biggly. That was the word I'm looking for. Man, I can't believe
I think if you're going to go with like bad English, you just lean right into it.
Yeah.
And when Adara, decides to correct us, then that's perfectly fine.
So what would we call this Nvidia trade then? $3 in the money if we're using improper
I just heard
English.
wiggles. Oh, Biggles. Biggles. Let's go with Biggles. Hold on a second. Your word of the day. Nvidia 123 is Biggles to the upside?
Yeah, I guess it's biggling itself higher.
Well, then I can't actually use that properly.
No, let's keep that kind of stuff for the midday show because we're going to try to keep it. I mean, Adara's going to have about 1,300 puns I think today in the midday show, give or take. All right, so right now Palantir is trying to go right here. It's now 7 cents, and there it is again. What are we even doing over here, Patrick? I mean, another one is coming through again for Palantir. So here we go again, Neil. The party, it doesn't honestly. It's too bad I'm not here Friday. I mean, I got a team of girls that are ready to go and really do some damage here. But I'm going to miss the markets. We will have Obi here. Look at this size right now. Let's see what there it goes. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. There's another one, Neil. Let's go, man. We are flossing all over the place. Look at Palantir there. And I know my guy over there, Mr. Ice to the left of me over here. I know he likes Palantir. And there it is right there. We talked about 24. To the moon she goes. It's Palantir starting to go. Oh, and by the way, oops, Oracle.
I'm reloaded. Another one.
Oracle, we get that fill at 138.90 right there for another 50-cent winner on the board. Oh man, Neil, today is a elite day.
It is. The only red flag I have is it was one breakout on GameStop that we took. We said we liked it better, but it's still going. There was just 125 broke and immediately 125 half had size. The size is gone through 125 and a half now. Next stop 126 and then gonna try to hold through a break, maybe look for some dip buys, all that good stuff. You can probably imagine that Micron, which we wanted to get back into, hasn't had a red candle since the last one. So it's all green candles. That's the nature of this market. What's interesting is we're still at 19.5 in the futures, although we're trying to bust through as we speak. The only thing looking weak and heavy out of these big cap, well, at least what I'm looking at, it's still AMD. AMD is just penalty box, penalty box, penalty box. I don't know what's up with it, but it is barely up, and it's not going with the rest of the market. If we curl, it just feels like this has to be the short. But I'm just reminded of something we said 2 days ago. There's this weird tendency for AMD to go inverse to what Nvidia is doing. So it's like if Nvidia drops and the market drops, like maybe AMD catches a bit. I don't think you need to force the action today. Everything has basically been working. So unless it's really obvious, give me a rejection off the one, off of VWAP or off the high of the day, I'm not seeing a need to rush into AMD and force the trade. Just because I'm looking for something to short at 19.5, you don't have to do it, man. Like Apple, you could find a late long that worked. Nvidia, you could find a late long that worked. I should have gotten back into Micron. I think looking for short opportunities, not worth it right now.
Thank you, Randy, for all of that. Randy, the only trade that we actually lost on today was your Tesla trade as it was up 2.2%. I tried to short this into 174. It's on the sticky note here at 174 short. So we'll have to wait to see if 175 winds up holding. I thought it would be weaker than the market today, Randy, and it's up 2 and change percent. Look, I got to give you some credit for this one because although I'm in this at 11.25, I know there's people in this a lot higher, but right here, Rivian, looking not bad. We talked about Lucid with a possible base. It looks like right now Rivian trying to base out as well. And I was saying that DraftKings I thought was a great buy down there at 11 or 12 bucks or 16, whatever the bottom was. I almost feel something similar for Rivian. If they can get there together, then I think that this $10, you get a lot of this garbage and get this out of here, which we've already suffered through that. A bad report sends this name from 11 down to 8 and change. And then now we've sort of digested all of that. This was that bump up when they rolled out the R2T, whatever the name is. And then all of a sudden we bounced and now we're starting to go higher. Hopefully production issues solved there with Rivian and we will continue this. But Randy, you like dollar winners? How about 1, 2, and 3? Nvidia right now is your #1 trade idea on the sticky note, and there it goes right there. It's a super spicy trade, and it was put on today. So it was a good one, and we'll just see if it wants to hold out here the rest of the day. And we already called this being a monster day. When it was only up 0.8, we said this market could go 1.5 to 2%, and there it is right there. So yeah, good call by holding some of these longs. so far there today. Thank you, Randy, for the coffees.
If you take every single break today, it's been working. So the question becomes, one that
I thought that last Apple one didn't work.
It did work.
Oh, it did?
I'm just out of it. Like,
oh, okay, okay,
it did
okay,
work.
okay.
It just trailed back through. Like, I got out most of it at the high at the 216.
Oh, right,
trailed
good.
back out
Okay,
to 15.
yeah.
No, I'm getting a Tesla here because what about in a stock I didn't take?
What about Oracle right
Look,
now?
I didn't take it, but I was saying, like, what about a break on a stock that I wasn't bullish on today? And that would have been Tesla. But it just broke 175 to the upside. Looks like it is going to join the rest of the party. Nvidia's trying to take 26. Micron's pretty much done. It's kind of a pump zone right now. ARM, we said 150 on ARM, but it's, yeah, like look at this. Like ARM, it's very, very messy in here, choppy, 149 to 151. Unless it breaks out the high, maybe you like a VWAP in there. No, we're just still going to have to chill. I said maybe Mara off of the $20 level, but that was too late. By the time someone said 20 on Mara, I looked at it and it was at $20.30. So it could just be a breakout on this name again. That worked out yesterday. 20 and a half is not the level. It's like 2060 here on Mara. Bitcoin's underneath 70,000, but how long is that going to last the way this is going? Mara almost doesn't care. It did this dip and rip. That's a lower lows and then lower highs into a flat top. Little V-shaped recovery action here on MARA. Had a big turn yesterday. Maybe the same thing will happen. Breakouts have been working all morning. I'll go for this 2060 on Mara after passing on Tesla.
What's up, Almog Mazer? How you doing, my guy? Oh, by the way, our newest position, Oracle, went to dollar in the money for us as well. All right, Adair, I see you ringing that bell. A little early to ring the bell. Right now, but we'll see. We'll see if we're ringing the bell, if we can get off the mat, per se, here with some of these names. Again, Nvidia, you know, you're always, for me anyways, I'm always going to look back and be like, man, oh man, like I wish we had held that. I wish we had done this. I wish we had done that. At the end of the day, this is probably PL number one, maybe of all time on the show that you've seen anybody take. So, I mean, for me, that's good. We're always trying to do better. I mean, I have PL number ones to the downside, all of them as well. So, I mean, that goes with the flow, unfortunately. But so far, so good here on this move, as it is just pulling itself back up to the upside. So we like that right there for Nvidia. But again, we are relatively light on this position as we look to see for more opportunities. So let's just chill out on it. We did take some more outs there on 14, 15s, and 16s there with Palantir. And again, we're just sort of adding to our day right now. We do have a negative stock. We did talk about it. Tesla, and Neil just mentioned it as well. Maybe that 175 is the top right there, but we're going to find out what is happening. And hey, there he is, Almog. Hey, thank you so much for that right here. Pretty good, sir. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. It's a holiday here. Not trading, unfortunately, just watching the pros at Sean Katina. Thank you so much. In Israel. Thank you, bro. Okay. And thank you to Neil and bro. And how is Neil? I think Neil's doing fine. All right. I think. Yeah, he's just chilling. I think Apple 220 today says Gonzalo. Yeah, I'm not getting out of anything Apple. I mean, Apple's already buying iPhones and left and right, so I think we'll just let Apple run right there and then cash out when I need to buy. I might just get the Pro 15 because again, Rogers or somebody will give a great deal on those, and I don't know if we'll buy the 16. Very, very excited to hear what the 16 has to offer because I'll definitely be getting one of them. I have a 12 now. So we'll pass it over the rest of them to the kids.
That's what oddly what my pop was saying. He's like, he doesn't know if I think he has. My mom has a 12 for sure.
Yeah.
He might have something else. But they're just like, you can get either one. You don't have to get the brand new one because if you're in Canada, all of the best deals are usually not on the latest. You get such fantastic deals on what might be next. Second most recent. So AMD might not be weak anymore. I'm giving the might here, as it's trying to get into these highs. Market's still holding higher. Everything looking pretty strong here. I was just looking over that Mara break, which I got the order set for the breakout, but you can see it's kind of cresting, so I don't think we'll get it imminently. Maybe if you dip by. You're getting higher lows on Mara, so if it can hold on to like 2020, I'd go for a dip buy on it. So either breakout or dip into 2020 as we're trying to be patient with it. I think we could have had that break on Tesla. You know, sometimes you talk yourself out of a trade. I don't want to FOMO myself with this Tesla trade, but 175 is not exactly exploding to the upside. You could have a pretty big dump back in if it fails this level, but the good news is 173 was where it died yesterday. 173 is VWAP, so I think a dip buy could be available if Tesla's really bullish. And if I'm not super bullish on the stock, I'd rather buy a dip than take a break.
Yep, exactly. I think that's a good thought there. I mean, that's what we, honestly, the reason why, I mean, we could talk all about, well, we are talking all about it, but Nvidia today. But ultimately, the reason why it is this day here, and by the way, you see I got the bull up here like this right now because it's been a very, very bullish day today, is the fact that we are able to get this dip buy on Nvidia. So it's like we took it early, we took it right off the open. So we already had 122.90s. Then we take a 123.50 break, which goes about 80 cents. And then on that failed break, basically failed, right? I mean, we are looking at that 123.50. It went up 80 cents. So it's kind of like what Neil mentioned there about Apple. You know, it goes up, you get out, but ultimately, just like Apple, and I haven't checked it in a minute, but Nvidia then fell. So from 124.50, it fell back down $2. It fell to 122.80. But the thing is that we were sitting there already because we knew, and again, it just goes by, I threw the sticky note, but it just goes by trying to figure out what your strategy was. And we say dip buy this name back to 118. So obviously we weren't getting 118. I mean, we write that note on CPI before that even came out. When that was strong there today, we called the NASDAQ was up 0.8. And we said this is probably a 1.5 to 2 day. And we don't even have Fed yet. So, I mean, I do think we continue to go higher here. I might just hold. I was actually waiting for 126.50 on Nvidia. I think if we get that, let's take it out, and then maybe we'll just hold the rest. It's been a monster day here, and we're looking for more. So let's wait to see if we can get that. Palantir and Oracle came all the way back right there after stopping at 138.25. So it did go $1.10 in the money. Now it screams higher. Watch out for a 140 break as the market is going ham. What's up, Adara?
IWM actually moving in sync with the market here, near its highs of days, continuing up here in this kind of actually bull flagish formation here, currently up right now over 3%. So great look for a lot of these small caps, and no shortage of runners to talk about here, in addition to a lot of these names with higher short floats that are moving around, a lot of which are small caps. We have some other names to talk about, like Beamer Imaging, BMR. This one has moved in the past, had a nice run up back in February. Today moving higher after announcing that its Beamer Cloud solution has achieved a certain kind of powered by expertise status within Oracle, and is now available in the Oracle Cloud Marketplace. 2 million share float for BMR. We also have here RNA. This one's a little bit larger, about $2.5 billion market cap. This company's called Avidity. They reported this positive data for their trial for their muscular dystrophy treatment. So nice look for RNA. This one has a short float of over 10% as well. And last but not least, Day Cook, DDC. This one up here, over 100%, announcing that they've acquired Omsom, a food brand, for a combination of cash and stock paid out over 4 years. So interesting look here for DDC.
So this happened a while ago. We didn't really mention it at the open. Barnes & Noble opened back up after the, what was that halt again? It was halt pending regulatory concern yesterday was what they said for BNED. Nvidia continues to go higher. Apple's chilling out at 215 again. I'm going to get there in a second.
$4.
New CEO before the open, and clearly some kind of, it was a reverse split. I don't know the exact, but it was probably like a 1 to 10 or whatever. I'm just guessing on Barnes & Noble. It is open and doing some decent volume. Apple is now, it's still chilling at this 215, consolidating. I've been bidding 213 looking for a pullback on Apple, and you're just seeing it hold higher. VWAP's a little bit of a ways away, down at 212. So I'm looking for a dip. If it doesn't do it, maybe it's another breakout through the high, which is $215.99. So that's a 216 break. I mean, sometimes the market just tells you what the level is. If it's going to hold 216 this long, 215 to 16, then I guess the next step would be a 216 break on Apple. If it completely ignored Microsoft, Microsoft, all-time highs on Microsoft at every single price that it's traded at today, but only up 1%. It just bounced super clean off VWAP. I think if we take out the high on this name, we're now well past 19.5. That one could be one to give her. Just feel like Apple 216 is going to come sooner for us here. So I guess we're back to breakout trades. 216 on Apple should be next.
All right, still going with Nvidia right now, of course. So I mean, this is really, I'm learning a lot every day, and you guys, I mean, I'm assuming that you guys can see that, but at the end of the day, you know, learning to really, you know, calm down, trust, you know, be in the right positions, hit the right stocks. I mean, yesterday we had Apple 194 off the jump, right? So like yesterday we had this Apple trade. Right there, let me zoom back out for you guys. Not in. There it is right there. So, you know, yesterday we had this move right here on Apple, and it went $10, $11, right? It was the #1 name on the sticky note yesterday. And we came in here, I mean, here, this is the sticky note. The good thing about it too is you can go and check all this, right? And then the other thing today was this, right? NVDA was the #1 name again on the sticky note there today. And this is the net result of that. So, you know, regardless of what's happening here to your P&L, to my P&L, to anybody's P&L, it's always good. And again, we talk about this on the podcast. Do your work. You know, do the due diligence. Trust the process. You know, make sure you definitely check out that Freedom Wealth podcast. Damn it, man, get Brendan off there, man. The guy's just too handsome. I mean, it's making me look like a fool every day. But definitely check that out there. It's the Freedom and Wealth podcast. And I think that I'm doing exactly what we're doing in the show there. We're talking about opportunities to possibly trade stock as a side hustle, trade it as, you know, an extra part of your income. And we still want to attract the same crowd. I mean, there's a lot of people on here, and I've talked about day trading as a living numerous times on here. You know, can be great, for sure. But at the same time, if you invest properly, you diversify, you have different opportunities in your asset portfolio, then you can also have that job, pay the bills, but then build something to gain that wealth so that eventually maybe you do turn to trading full-time because you do have a little bit of that nest egg. So again, make sure you do check it out. It's a Freedom Wealth podcast. We're putting a heck of a lot of time into that. And, you know, as it grows, you know, guests and everything, the show is going to just take off. And there's a lot of things in the works. Yeah, I'm just excited for more podcasting and to get more involved. So we're really, really excited about all this as Palantir goes right back up another 12 cents.
Yeah, and it's not just about investing and trading. I mean, you know, certainly a lot of the things that I heard are going to apply to everyday life. You know, improving yourself is improving yourself. The idea about compounding that was discussed, like you don't just compound interest. I was mentioning this with Sharif this morning. That, you know, when I was, whether it's like working out or whatnot, like you learn to be more efficient over time if you actually focus on getting better and doing the right things, tracking your results. And now what I can accomplish 30 minutes in the gym would take me an hour 10 years ago because I worked at it. And it's the same thing. You could be a baseball player, you could be a hockey player with like Gia, taking 1,000 shots a day. I'm probably exaggerating that, something like along those lines. And it compounds over time. I think that works for trading, it works for investing. You know what also works? Going to the desk for Adara to get, let's call it crypto update.
We will be talking about crypto. Before we get to crypto, though, a quick little recap here. We did get some of these EIA numbers. So EIA crude oil inventory is coming higher than expected here, 3.7 million versus the expected negative 1.5 million. Then we also had here EIA gasoline inventory is also harder than expected, 2.5 versus 1.5 expected here. So nice, I guess, bit of a move up there if you're following oil or energy stocks at all. We did have higher than expected gasoline and crude oil inventories coming through. In terms of Bitcoin, recovering from this pretty nicely, but yesterday apparently $250 million in liquidations in those crypto markets as Bitcoin pulled back towards that $66,000 level. From what I'm seeing, a lot of analysts speculating that this had to do with concerns over the rate hike, but it looks like some of these crypto investors have recovered. We have this bullish candle here overtaking pretty much all of the losses we had yesterday. So nice recovery here on the daily chart for BTC, still below that 70,000 level. And again, still be interesting to see what we do here at this level of resistance that we've now pulled back from 5 times. It's going to be at 72,000 level. So interesting look on the daily chart for Bitcoin. Bitcoin up here about 4.5%. Ethereum following suit up about 3.1/5% here, above that 3,600 level. BNB up about 4%. Solana up 5%. Dogecoin up 3.4%. Cardano up just under 4%. Really great look across the board here for all these crypto names recovering after yesterday's losses, guys.
All right, let's do a quick little shout out here. I saw someone, we've already seen Israel on here. We've seen Milan on here. I saw someone here from there it is right here. CT 2010, he's from Hong Kong, or she, watching us every night. So thank you so much. Fakir family loves the podcast. So subscribe. Right there. Crew numbers out. Yeah, we just talked about that a little bit, so we'll go over that in a minute. Tesla could hit 200, I bet. There it is. What's up, James Dell, right there as well, a big guy. Wherever you're from, put it in here. We'll sell. What's up? We got someone from Palestine here, so shout out to that. We have someone from Brooklyn. What's out? What's up right there? And then someone right before that says Smelly NYC. Shout out to Brooklyn. It's the Bronx in the building. What's up, Jay-Z? Jay-Z, another prominent Sean, you know, in the business right there. So shout out to Jay-Z. All right, what's up to Brazil right there? Oh, he's in the North Pole. What's up, Kanye? He's in the North Pole. Kanye's always somewhere. He's in the North Pole today. So shout out to that. Say hello to your lovely family. There we go. Milano is here as well. What's up? Washington is here. Colombia's in the building. Rochester, New York, Netherlands. We're in the Chi-Town right there. I thought that said CN Tower. What's up, Chi-Town? What's up, Georgia? Sydney, Australia's here. Hey, Guelph, we've got family up in Guelph. Props to you, Guelph. We like Guelph, but a little too far for your boy to go there to live. What's up, Tombstone? Fleming Island, North Carolina, Utah, Croatia. Oh yeah, by the way, I know Italy is probably, you know, one of the best teams in Europe. Obviously, we won the Euro Cup last time. But how are we in a division with Croatia and Spain? Shout out to Croatian and my Croatian cousins.
That's trouble.
We're coming after you, my guys, right there. Shout out to Portugal. What's up, Portugal? CR7, yeah, my kids go sweet all the time, so shout out to that. What's up to Ronaldo? Belgium is in the building. Puerto Rico is here. What's up, Qatar? Singapore. Hey, we love Singapore and we love Nimit as well. I've been to Singapore. That is one hell of a place. What's up, Venezuela, Utah, Philly, Venezuela again, more Brazil, more Netherlands. We in the building, baby. This show is worldwide. And I could not be more proud of what we've been able to build. That started with me speaking in front of a bunch of different offices here at Real Trading on a camera, basically on a webcam. And now we have spent millions and millions or less of money.
Thousands and thousands.
On this show. And we want to thank absolutely everybody for being there. That was an abbreviated roll call.
I love Bakersfield, armpit of California in there as well. I'm out of Nvidia. Every 50 cents and an even dollar, we've been trailing it, and this time it trailed out. It's the first dollar pullback that it had since 9:30.
Oh no!
Like that initial one in there. So it just pulled 127 into 126. I went over, and when it happened, I was trying to short AMD, but I resolved myself not to chase the move. So I didn't I had one offer. I didn't get it. I didn't try chasing it back down in. You know, not going to do any of that this afternoon, this late morning. It's 10:36. If we don't find ourselves into another trade, we'll just be happy with what we got. But it was the first real pullback in Nvidia, and it's already right back into 126.5. Apple still at 215. It's really not doing a heck of a lot. I do want to see if we can bounce off of VWAP here on Micron. Finally, we're at VWAP at 140. So if it shows any kind of a pep in its step, we're going to look for the long. Tesla is stupidity.
Dude, I have $2 in the money on Oracle.
Tesla, that 175 break, it's now at $177 and up 4%. Tesla is absolutely flying. I guess they'd like Tesla after all that pressure it's underneath. It's just not stopping here.
Remember when we gave you...
Another one. Another one.
It doesn't stop. Look at Oracle. I mean, this is now $2.10 in the money here on Oracle. I mean, we knew this was going to be a special day. I had no idea it was this special. $4 on this, on Nvidia right now, $2 on Oracle. It's like we're just sitting here, man. We're just normal dudes sitting here trying to put some money up, and it's been a good day so far. So that was a good one there. I mean, look at Oracle again, comes up to 140. I like that level. We take the short there on earnings. We said we would base this out, and again, remember when it came over and Neil talked about it for a couple minutes there, was this, that, this, that. At the end of the day, this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. Pull-ups into nice levels. We know what kind of a trader we are, support and resistance one, and that's exactly, to me, what printed out here on this name. So again, like the name here with Oracle. I don't like to trade earnings plays. Those of you know that. And today, I just felt like Oracle was a little bit different. Nice pullback up into that level. Its expected return was move was 12%. So we got that move, so we tried to fade it right there. So again, just kind of like a shout out to Danielle Shea and some of the stuff that we've been doing, again, on the market recap show, which today will be with Neil for the rest of the week as we decide to split that up. So I'll be doing Mondays and Tuesdays. He'll be doing Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we'll figure out Fridays. So it should be fun. And we had Brian Shannon on yesterday, great guest, of course. And we look to have more and more and more. I think tonight it'll be Chris Brecher, or Tammy, and then we'll get going. Michael Noss likes to come on there as well. All right, so we can go over. Let's have a quick look. Again, Palantir is still doing Palantir type things, which we like when that happens, because Palantir hanging out and giving us those low bids. So we're still on Palantir. Again, not really super exciting to me. That Oracle right there, that 137, we've already dip bought into that level. So that, again, could have been a trade. We're not big on this trade. We're big enough to have the $2, but at the same time, waiting for a little more in case there is that pullback in. We only have now probably less than 5% of this trade on for Nvidia. So we already took some out at 126.50. We're just letting the rest ride. It is a very, very small position for us, for me. So we'll wait to see what happens now with it. But for now, it's just a chilled out spot. And it's me here. Hey, it's me. We are today the anti-hero. And that's for the shorts. But right now, we'll just sit here and relax on this trade with Nvidia and see if we can't put a little bit more money here. Palantir still in the money. Nvidia, $3.
Yeah, I was just talking to a trader, and
sometimes
on Fed, you get like those big moves and you fall asleep a little bit. If the market doesn't do any kind of push back to the highs, let's talk about the NASDAQ, maybe GameStop wakes up in that moment. The only trade I had that stunk was actually the breakout in GameStop. It was a 30 break. It did not hold back through like 29.80, but now you're holding VWAP. So we're going to get to sector watch here, but you just put higher lows, which I like specifically on GameStop when it does this. So higher lows, now holding VWAP, a consolidation there. $30 is back in the rear view. So I want to look for a long around 30, 40 off of VWAP. Let's go to Adara, see what is and isn't working in this market with sector watch.
Only a couple sectors that are really not working that have quite a bit of weakness here. One of them is going to be consumer non-durables. A lot of these names here are going to be red. Health services also a bit weaker. Energy, minerals, and utilities also a little bit more on the mix to weak side. But so much strength to talk about in these markets. Of course, electronic technology being bolstered by Nvidia and Apple. Nvidia continuing on its post-split move up. Apple with the WWDC continuing throughout the week. A lot of strength as well in technology services, bolstered by Oracle. Accenture and CRM a little bit weaker here, but lots of strength in this sector as well. Finance pretty much green across the board after a lot of weakness yesterday. Health technology mixed, but quite a few green names here as well, and strong across the board for producer manufacturing, consumer services, and transportation. Keep an eye on Uber in transportation, UBER. Citigroup raising its price target, and also this one getting a mention and a positive approval there in CNBC's final trade. So Uber could be one to look at here in that transportation sector, guys.
Yeah, we looked at Uber earlier. I mean, I liked it above that 70 on that upgrade. So we can have a quick look. There's only 20 minutes left, and then I'm going for a walk, baby. And then we are going to be filming the next podcast, which should be really exciting. So we keep talking about that. So get ready for that. And again, we love doing it. So absolutely no problem with that one. We'll see what happens here with Uber. 72.50 again. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I like the upgrade. I just didn't have the wherewithal, I guess, to short this or to go long at 64. I didn't love everything that was being talked about with Uber, and especially some of the competition possibly coming through there with robo-taxi and whatnot. But I guess that was pretty much not all for naught. I mean, it wiped out a lot of a lot of gains, right? I mean, we were up to $82. It went all the way back down to 62 bucks. So you give off 20 off 80. I mean, you're back in there 25%. You know, so a 25% pullback in Uber right there. I just heard the professor. I mean, look, professor, I checked the account, man. We're up 28%, not more than that now, on Apple. And I know that he and I were buying this name back in 165, 168, 170, just dip buying this name. And then we get what we thought we would get. And it was a big announcement from Apple. I mean, I can go back again. How many, it's funny because it's dated on here, but we talk about this. We had here, look at this, Apple 197 long, and we just wrote down here WWDC event happening. Over here, 194 long, again, talking about this. This is when Tesla was also at 174. So again, just going back, it's like, sometimes it's fade the news, but Apple, again, it was really, really like, sluggish. There's so many names. There was Nvidia, huge moves. Meta, huge moves. Amazon, everything was breaking highs, and Apple was just chilling. And then all of a sudden, Apple gets the catalyst. There's catalysts all over the place. Microsoft is 52-week highs and all-time highs. Meta back above $5 and probably screaming, yeah, 505. I mean, what a great couple years to obviously have been long tech names and just been long the whole market. Will eventually all these names come back in 25, 30%? Yes, okay? But when? Up to you guys. That's why I don't think there's anything wrong. We got out of some Meta before earnings, right? We're starting to get out. I might get out of some Nvidia today. Nvidia's at 126. I mean, don't check your accounts to see this. We had Michael Noss on the other day. This thing is up 2,900% in 5 years, right? Like I told the story many, many years ago on the show where I bought this name at $100 and someone looked at me like I had no idea what was going on. That went to $1,200. You know, so there are lots of opportunities here in all of these markets, and I have some real crappy investments as well.
SoFi, that's for me.
SoFi is one of my best ones considering some of these weed names.
Oh, well.
All right, so the idea here is that
I'm talking opportunity cost for SoFi.
Yeah, but SoFi's...
It's not that bad.
Yeah, thank God I don't have that much money in SoFi. Look, I try to be as real as I can with everybody, and I've told you already from time where the big positions are, and that I've lost money in crypto, lost money in SoFi, lost money in PaySafe, lost money in pretty much every single IPO that I've ever invested in, besides Spotify, legitimate business, right? That was a great one. We bought that one on the direct. Actually, both my winners are direct lists. Companies that actually existed before that are great companies. Palantir makes up for all the losses anyways, but Palantir is in there and so is Spotify. So those are two big ones. And then, of course, I've told the story on the show before as well, where I got out of some of my Microsoft at $40 back about like 20 years ago, which was ridiculous when it was stuck in that range there. And then, you know, names like Costco and whatnot. But we all have these stories.
I did that
I've never invested in gold.
I did that with Oracle years ago. And then I ended up getting back into it, but I looked back, it was like, oh, the stock's not doing anything. And I got out of it. And then, of course, they did the turnaround with cloud. I'm like, okay, well, let's just buy it 30% higher than what we sold it at. Mm-hmm. And it's worked out. Sometimes you got to suck it up, Buttercup. And if you sell a stock, it goes higher, but you like it, and you buy it back higher. It is what it is, man. And I've done that before so many times. Buy and hold is really good. While I don't want to interrupt Sean, I was in 216.08 on a break of Apple. It immediately failed the break. So the 216 break, obviously not as good as the 215 break, because that initial move, the 215 break went all the way to 16 even, and then right back. This one went to like 28, 216.28, and pulled back. So I think it's running a little bit out of steam. While that was happening, GameStop, as we were mentioning, we're looking for the consolidation dip off of VWAP. We got VWAP, that's starting to go higher. If everything falls asleep, maybe the memes wake up going into the afternoon. And I think that means buy lower highs, buy breakouts potentially, maybe the 32 break. Just zooming it way out so you can see. The 32 break looks pretty good on GME. So I'd be out of a long going into 32, and I'd be trying to take a breakout through that price. Not really paying attention to any of the other small cap names, just looking at GameStop in here and seeing if this one can go. Like, why look at, you know, NVAX today or AMC today when GameStop is doing, I mean, all the volume is in GameStop. AMC is dead flat. It's at VWAP. It's done 13 million shares, and it is $5. GameStop has done 40 million shares, and it's $31. That tells you all you need to know. It's the GME party right now.
Oracle still $2 in the money. For me, like what Neil was saying, GME and Oracle and all that are different beasts because one is only a $30 name. But for me, I just kind of close my eyes. I don't really look at what stock price is too much. Like I'll probably trade Oracle with the same shares that I would trade GME. Just because again, I have targets and I have levels and my breakers I almost actually holding something longer for longer moves there on a name like GME, right? I mean, it's almost like this Oracle trade. Do you know where my stop was on this? 40s. So again, 70 cents worth of a stop to now be printing where we are is again, it's just, to me, it's about risk to reward. And I'm not sure about anything more than we can do other than looking at risk and reward, looking at breakout levels, and just trying to become better traders every single day. And I feel like we're accomplishing that, and I'm glad that everybody's been able to see that here as we'll continue to go. We have Sharif over here. Adara talks all the time about how much better she's getting, which is fantastic. Again, more dip buy opportunities. And again, people, I keep seeing on the chat, where do we learn to trade? I mean, I thought you're already here, but you could just look right now. We have, I mean, this is the work that I put in for you every single day, giving you these trade ideas, putting them on, and then telling you that just by following this today, and it doesn't happen every day, we don't list a trophy every day, but today it was a good one, and it was really just one trade. And then follow that up with, again, like, Oracle will be the second P&L name here on the show today. And we just put this on at 10:10. You know, so actually Palantir is, but we just put this on. So as this continues to go lower and lower, now we're $4 in the money on Nvidia and $2, so $4 in the money long on Nvidia and $2.25, $2.50 in the money short now on Oracle. So if you're looking for real trading, well, put the hand up over here. One trade for Nvidia, one trade for Oracle, and one trade for Palantir today. And then the L of the ball today for me is Tesla. But we'll stamp that one. We like the stock. It's just today, unfortunately for us, we were trying to go short 174. It didn't work. We got out. It did fall back into the 50 period and then ramped itself right up. Tesla's actually, in my opinion, probably the missed trade of the day for me. I know Apple was a huge long. We nailed that yesterday. We already have Nvidia long. It's this pullback right there into the 50 period moving average. I mean, look, pullback in, rip, pullback in, rip, pullback in, rip. So one more pullback to 176. I like this long here for Tesla if it does come through. So far, so good here. For me, you've heard too much of me today, that's for sure. So we're going to go over to the desk with Adara, and then Neil will kill it when we get back.
After 2 days without any significant economic data, we get not only the CPI print, but we also have the FOMC meeting coming up today. And the DXY certainly reacting to these lower than expected CPI numbers across the board, dropping from around 105.30 all the way down to around 104.20. So big drop here for the DXY, undoing pretty much all of the last 3 days of gains on this daily chart. In terms of month-over-month CPI coming in flat compared to 0.1% expected, core CPI 0.2 versus 0.3 expected, CPI year-over-year 3.3 versus 3.4 expected, core CPI year-over-year 3.4 versus 3.5 expected. So all of these going to be 0.1% lower than the estimate that we had here. Of course, stay tuned. 2 p.m. we'll get that FOMC rate decision. We're not expecting to see any changes, but at 2:30 we'll be hearing from Fed Chair Jerome Powell during that press conference. That should certainly be one to watch. We know that this can move the market, so we'll have to wait and see what Jerome Powell has to say at 2:30. And then stay tuned as well tomorrow for PPI prints at 8:30 a.m. Lots of economic data on the horizon, guys.
Yeah, it's a busy day for economic data. Like, I feel like we got, like 2 seconds ago, I feel like we got the oil number, and I was like, let me look at an oil stock, and I just didn't bother because GameStop made a move, and then Apple was breaking out again, and Nvidia was going again, and that's just how it should be. I mean, ultimately, I feel like you don't want to get too distracted, like stay in the pocket. So with that, we got the dip into VWAP on GameStop. I'm now out of it. You cracked that 21 level. I still think at 32 breakouts in play, the next available dip, want to look to join that party again. I look at what's been consistent for myself this morning or this month. And it's generally been taking those like simplistic entry trades where it's like a confirmation of a level. Like I'm doing way better if it's a confirmation that it's back into the buy than, oh, right at the open when the stock has been tanking, just take the first available break. Those have been kind of hit or miss. And I said pre-market, oh, I'll go into the long if it goes into an up halt. It didn't go into an up halt. It was just an even dollar level at the open. So we took that and get the hit on it. I do like those breakouts, but the breakouts were better on things like Nvidia, 125, some of those bigger names. Micron did pretty well. Again, chip name. But now that you have the trend going, when this trend's above VWAP, it's generally been good. And obviously the last couple of days it hasn't. You have to go way back. But yesterday, once it was starting to show you the pattern of holding VWAP, you had one more chance to get in. But there was this one in here, your higher lows underneath VWAP, then the consolidation above. So you get your higher lows underneath VWAP and then the consolidation above. And as long as it holds, we want to look for more longs in there. I still say if we're shorting something, it's probably AMD. But
$3.
I talked myself out of it a little bit, but we are heading right back into those lows. So we'll just be happy we're up. At this point, I might not get anything new unless we get VWAP again on GameStop with only about 7 minutes. The day ain't over. You still have Fed to go at 2 p.m. I think 2:30 is going to be the bigger wave here. So I'll look for a short VWAP off AMD, and I'll look for a long GameStop off of VWAP as well.
What's up, Vitaly? Thank you so much for your nice words there. Look, we're now $3 in the money on Oracle. Look, this is the thing. The reason why I show all these winners and stuff like that is just to show you guys that like this is possible. And Neil just said at least we're up. And I mean, he's true. There's 3 positive traders or so today, and it's just like I'm just trying to show you guys that some days we get rinsed, some days we win, and I'm here to tell you about all of those days. And I'm also here to tell you about how hard it is to become a day trader. And that's why I give you guys stats like that. I mean, I've talked to Brankles in the back there. We've decided it's like 1 or 2 out of 10 that are here 6 months later from walking in the door. I'm not talking about being positive, okay? I'm just talking about surviving the game is maybe 2 out of 10. And then out of those 2, maybe you get 1, maybe you get half if you could divide up a human. That would be positive at some point. So let's just talk about being real instead of worried about like, oh man, this guy has a $4 winner and this guy's a $5 winner and he keeps talking about it. I'm just showing you that these are the trades that I have on here and it has equaled now a big day. And it's just, I talked about that the other day all the time. I'm like, oh damn, I just lost like my whole week on Nvidia or something like that. I talk about that all the time. So it's just about trying to show you that there's roller coasters here with trading. And to me, it's about just being real with everybody and talking as real as we can. And that's what created this show. And that's why I'm still here, to be honest with you. Just like when I hired Neil, I told him this is a tough game for sure. And that's what's happening right now. Look at Oracle right now. We want to talk about Nvidia being $4 or $5 in the money. We talked about looking for shorts. So here's the short today. We put on Oracle, it's 140. It's pulling back to the 200 period moving average. So you know what I do when I see that? Right? Let me just do it right now. End the show with a $4 winner. Almost, $3.50. Right there on that short. So there it is. It's a good trade for Oracle. I'll be back here. Thank you so much, Anthony Kerr. Thank you so much, Almog, and everybody in the chat. I know real sees real, and that's why, and honestly, one of the big things that's made a big difference to me is this guy to the left of me right here. Because he said the other day that it was like good vibes and all of that kind of stuff, and when I heard him say that, to me, I was like, okay, like I'm glad that it's coming across that way. So that means a lot to me. So a shout out, thank you, Sharif, for all of that, because that's what this show's all about. It's trying to build the camaraderie, trying to show you guys to not trade alone. Give options there. We could trade together. We could talk about it. We could give you trade ideas. I mean, Palantir right here. I'm getting some out now, right? So there's a trade right there. Another good one on. So I'm thankful that our biggest loser today is nowhere near even our lowest winner. So today's a big day, and it's a good one. And I just want to thank everybody for listening to me continuously ramble on. But I ain't going anywhere. So
maybe a walk. It's really nice out today. I know what's up. Like it's,
oh, I'm going for a walk every day.
no, I know. I'm kidding around when I say
am not doing the market recap today. My guy over here.
So I was about to say to everybody, like we're doing a little bit of a switch with the market recap. We'll kind of do 2 days, and then the Friday, we've kind of joked around about how we're going to handle the Friday. We'll probably rotate it, or Sean says rock, paper, scissors. I say we make some kind of like where does the Dow close, because no one cares about the Dow or whatever. And we can do some fun stuff with it. It'll be as usual, the big one after the bell. There's no need to put the earnings board up. It's Broadcom today. That's pretty much it. There's a couple of other things reporting, but nobody cares about anything but Broadcom, I think. And then you got the Fed at 2 o'clock, 2:30. The podium matters way more. GameStop's about to break 32 as well. So with 2 minutes to go, GameStop wants 32, and it wants it pretty badly. I'm on the bid for a dip at 31 if it fails 32. So I'm already bidding this at $31 just in case it's a failed break. I want that rubber band action to get me back in. But it is now breaking out fresh highs on GME. Yeah, wow, it's absolutely gone. I'm canceling the bid. Forget about 31 when it's already at 32.20. I want to dip buy off of this break on GME. 31.80 was the previous high. I think 31.80 is a good spot to catch the rubber band back in. So the trend is to the upside. We're in and out at least a couple times in GameStop, and I don't think this story is over. Now, we've talked about this before. Those late day rallies, sometimes they don't wait around for late in the day. This is like an 11 o'clock rally here on GME. I'm on the bid looking 31.75 on this dip. We can go to the chart for a quick second. Ramin, thank you so much if it was Ramin or Fabian. Previous high, double top, triple top. That's where I'm looking to grab the dip in GameStop, giving it to $31.50 as we just broke out the highs on GameStop, or on GME. That's the only stock I'm looking at that we'll probably actually get. So go GME. I guess we're looking like we're apes today.
Yeah, we're apes every day. I mean, GameStop yesterday was an absolute monster trade. I think it was P&L 1, I think, either on the show or at least for me, for sure. All right, but that could have been Apple as well. I might be wrong on that one. Yo, shout out to Mr. Mark A right here. I can't believe you didn't get back into Apple this morning. Me neither. I mean, I would have loved to get back into that name. Unfortunately, we've got other bangers. Look, Apple is definitely a missed opportunity for me. But hey, what are we supposed to do? Not much we could do about that one. We are still in Nvidia long, which has been a good move for $3. And like I said, this is P&L number 1, and it's not even close. So we're really happy with the trade. Part of it is overexposure. I've done this before to you guys, and that is that and that's why I've gone over to the TQQs, and thank you, Adam DeLuz in the chat for telling me to, because I asked, what are we trading today? And he's recognized, the moves that we've made. I almost consider myself just as good as a futures trader. We never even looked at that today. So I just want to say, there's lots of opportunities, like we were mentioning, whether or not you're just going to trade little in Rivian, whether or not you're just going to trade bigger moves in Oracle or Nvidia, or small in Palantir, I think is another example. I mean, look at this.
They rinsed it.
1, 2, 3, boom, all the way to the upside, $24, $25 right now. So, Neil, you're long GameStop?
No, they just stopped it. I had the long on the dip, and they stopped underneath 31.50. So I got out at 31.46. on that dip. So it broke the 50 level. I said exactly where my stop was going to be. The breakouts have not been the best trade. I just got to go back into VWAP. 1 for 3 on GameStop, but look at the difference. Breakout, no good. Dip buy, good. Breakout, no good. I'm here to tell you, that's the bad stock today. You got to keep it in the pocket. So that's what we're going to do. It is past 11 o'clock, but I wanted to make sure I got that one to you because it was looking like it was holding that 32 level. So we did grab the dip buy, but it's past 11 o'clock. We're gonna go.
What's for lunch right now? So let's go. All right, we're going to find out what's for lunch right here. Today's a good one. That's why we're going to hold it and tell it to you before we throw it over. It's 11:01, so shout out to Sharif and Adara. Let's give the people what they want right here. Gourmet burger today. Gourmet. So get ready for that. Gourmet. With American cheese and jalapeno aioli. All right. Little fancy way of saying mayonnaise maybe right there. So we'll figure that out with potato wedges. That is, and I apologize, but that is what's for lunch, as I always see people on the chat asking what is for lunch, and that's what it is. So there it is.
Mayo guy.
It's a little, it's a little bit of
you know me and mayonnaise.
American cheese, and jalapeno aioli. So should be tasty. We'll
We'll
see.
probably get
We've had a lot of tuna lately on our, and I feel like the caterer is watching the show because I keep on mentioning how much I enjoy tuna. And it seems like every single time, although yesterday, again, we had egg salad on there, and that was pretty tasty, the egg salad. So, all right, man, Apple just continues to climb, man. I just heard you say 217, so let's go. I may or may not get out of some Apple. I mean, it is such a monster play today.
222.22. I'm selling 5% of Apple in my personal account. I'm putting an offer at $2 or $222.22. And the last time I put a stock at that price, it was 2 years ago with Tesla, and I got filled, and it was almost exactly the dip price to get that day. But I didn't sell it. Nvidia 125, I'm on the bid back into VWAP. Let's go over to the midday. Go get them.
Yes, yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That girl right there in the stripes is your girl,